Okay, so we all know what today is. It's March 9th, or aka the day matpat retires. So to commemorate him, I'm gonna watch his oldest videos, his most popular videos, and well, his last video. And we're gonna be starting off with style theory. Let's start off. And it doesn't want to work. Why does this always happen, like when I try to record a video?
We believe that beauty.
I had the sense in this video. Okay, that's his oldest video. Let's start with his most popular video now. Okay, let's start off with the next video. With Can Sue's kill? Yes. If you guys remember if you guys remember Amory, well, she can do a lot with a high heel, so yes, Sue's can kill. Very much. Let's start this video. Why does this always happen? Let's do that. That is one kind of gun, or with all the kinds, because there's pistols, AK-47s. If I'm correct, I think. What other kinds? Like, I'm not a gun guy. That's more of my dad. Or is it? What I'm just saying is, does it work for one kind of gun, or does it work for multiple? That's. Oh, what's one doing? Theo's bucks. How much did they actually pay her for this though? Because what I've seen, people spend a whole lot of money on stuff you wear on your feet. Like seriously, they're just shoes. That you don't need to put on some fancy footwear for people that probably won't even care. Like seriously, they're just shoes. Also, I should probably clarify that I'm in a different house, so yeah, that's why this whole back. That's why I can see my entire room this time. For the most part, you can't really see mine, but still, I'm in a different house, so my new room is a bit smaller, but yeah. So those like things are different. My bed's just in the middle of the room. Because when I actually did put it on the wall, that door would not be opening. So.
We wanted to run the gamut of footwear, so our shoe shelf included a pair of sandals, more for the emotional damage of getting hit with a sandal than the physical damage, then some sneakers, a pair of wedges, by far our heaviest shoes of the day, a chunky heel, and finally, the stilettos. Before...
I guess the chunky though. You forgot about the most important too. Unless that's just sandal and Spanish. Look, I'm Hispanic, but I'm not that Hispanic. I know what chunky means. I don't know if this means sandal or if it's actually a different type. Let's test that out. Okay, so. Huh. She's not lying. Wait, what did the other note say? What is this? Why is... Oh, I skipped too far. Why does my computer always do this? Wait, why does it always freeze when I'm doing reaction videos? Oh. The only time I actually did a reaction video was that Game Tunes video I uploaded. Okay, you're gonna... in the video. I'll be back when this video starts. In the video right here because I'm gonna need, well, this part of it because I need to call on my sister real quick. Okay, now that that's been done, let's watch his final.
no more games. This is my final episode of Style Theory. So it's either win now or go home as a fashion failure. One final chance to take myself from novice to master. No limits, no budgets. And this time, it's live and in person. Are you ready? Hello, Internet! Welcome to my final Style Theory. In case you missed it, it's not a joke. This is my last episode as host of Style Theory. And I wanted to do something big for it. Something special for this last episode. You see, when I started this channel over a year ago, I knew that it was going to come down to this moment. I wanted to find out what the key to learning good style was. Because I believe that just like anyone can become a theorist, anyone can be a style icon. You just have to do the research, figure out the rules, the hacks, the data behind looking sharp. And when I don't know something, I track down someone who does, and then ask them to teach me. So in part 1 of our epic 4-way stylist showdown, I turned to online stylists to see if the internet would once again hold all the answers. But alas, that road only led to disappointment and me looking like a generic K-pop wannabe. That means that this time, I'm not hiding behind the safety of my computer screen. I'm bringing the experts to me, live and in person, into my home and into my closet. It all started in a closet, and today, that's where it's gonna end. Stephanie and I are determined to find the secret ingredient in our style. And as a surprise gift to all you loyal theorists that have come along on the style journey with us for the past year, at the end of the episode, I'm gonna have a super exciting announcement that you're not gonna wanna miss. It's gonna change the world of fashion on YouTube forever. Editors, set another timer.
What? You have it?
Alright, that was a bit more intense than I expected it to be, but sure, we'll roll with it. The pressure's on, theorists. We can't afford to waste any more time. The end is near. In our first round of this test, we pitted human against algorithm and take my and Stephanie's style to the next level. And didn't go quite as planned. I highly recommend you check out that episode before this one so you get the whole experience. But long story short, while we learned a lot through the process, we didn't get all the answers that we were looking for. While we got a few good items, we didn't learn how or why these clothes were meant to elevate our style. So this time, we're gonna turn up the pressure. No budget, no barriers, no backing out, no matter how out of our comfort zone these outfits might be. So this time, we only have 2 things that we're judging. 1, did they get our style? And 2, can they teach us to be better at styling ourselves? Should be pretty darn simple, right? Well, we're about to find out. Let me introduce you to our stylist options for today, because theorists, they could not be any more different. On one end, we have Jamie, a part-time personal stylist who does this as her side hustle. Even though Jamie's been a close personal friend of ours for years, we actually had no idea that she did this. But apparently Jamie's wanted a chance to dress us up for as long as we've known her. So today she gets the chance. When she heard that we were doing a stylist episode, she jumped at the opportunity to throw her hat in the ring. And Steph and I jumped at the chance to learn whether or not a personal connection would be key to our experiment success. Since Jamie's known both of us for years, she's seen what we tend to wear on a day-to-day basis. So clearly she should have herself a pretty good leg up on our likes and dislikes, which presumably gives her an advantage, right? I guess we're about to find out. I like us being inverses of each other.
Yeah, I know, I like that.
You're the yin and I'm the yang.
Yeah, exactly.
Jamie will cost us an initial fee of $150 per person for the initial consultation and lookbooks. Depending on how long the shoot goes, she also charges an additional $50 an hour and will also need to purchase the clothing from the lookbooks to try on. On the other side of our style spectrum, we have our most expensive option in the entire series, a professional personal styling business from right here in Raleigh called Refined by Teresa. They pride themselves on their multi-tiered services and flexible scheduling, which, as a very overbooked guy, definitely appreciate. Taking a look at their in-person options, we went with their signature closet audit service, priced at $450 a person. Pretty hefty price tag, but it offered us something that no other service touted, the opportunity to learn. By coming in and going through our closet, they're hopefully able to teach us how to take our current personal styling to the next level. No shopping required. They aren't turning us into some new version of ourselves like we saw in the last episode. They're literally trying to take our existing clothes and give them a new, more fashionable life while figuring out what gaps exist in our wardrobe. If they're able to pull it off, well, that could be a game changer. But to reap the benefits of our 2 talented stylists, we first had to return to our personal purgatory, filling out the fashion surveys. Woo! Okay, last one. Oh my gosh, 500 hours later.
Okay.
Our first go at this took almost 2 full hours to get through, and by the end, we were over it. O-V-E-R, over it. So to save us all the trouble, let me just speed run us through my and Stephanie's style. When it comes to Steph, there are 3 words that really encompass her looks: comfortable, quirky, and classic. When it comes to the shapes and silhouettes that Stephanie gravitates towards in her wardrobe, she definitely prefers to keep it classic. So our stylist should be steering clear of very asymmetrical or super revealing items. Do you have any concerns regarding modesty?
Please, no nipples. Nips out. Please, no nips out. There we go.
Codpiece though, all in. Stay away from the nips, but codpiece. But while her silhouettes might be classic, where you do see Stephanie start to show off a wild side is with patterns. Stephanie loves a cute, bold pattern. Whether it's using color blocking or putting cute pasta shapes with faces onto a sweater, she is all in for that. And it needs to be comfortable, meaning no scratchy or stiff fabrics. If she can't take a cat nap in this thing, it is out. When it comes to some of her favorite pieces, sweaters, and more sweaters. As long as they come in fun colors or with a nerdy design, you are a winner in her book. Lastly, as a petite gal, she's always on the lookout to find something that'll help elongate her legs. And then over here, you got me, the guy whose only fashion icon on these surveys is Ken from the Barbie movie. I love bright, bold colors. I appreciate the pieces that make it look like a rainbow just puked on your chest. I mean, for the past 10 or so years, this bright red jacket has become my go-to uniform. Speaking of, I love jackets. Outerwear in general. Honestly, the only thing I might like more than jackets is Diet Coke. I guess my family's in there too. Anyway, as I learned about myself in the last episode, I tend to lean towards structured items that give me a casual internet professional look. When I look at what I'm normally pulling out of the closet on a day-to-day basis, for ease and simplicity, I'm following a pretty regular formula. T-shirt, usually dark, maybe black, or with some fun pattern on it, with a bright structured jacket on top. Dark wash jeans, shoes. That said, even though I can very clearly articulate that very predictable formula, I did learn something while filming this episode that was a surprising fact about my wardrobe. You want to know where I get my favorite shirts from? Museums. How weird is that?
Yeah.
But if you look at the most clothes that I have gotten over the last 2 years, it has been from like an art museum. It turns out that while Stephanie and I had go-to items that we love, we didn't really have favorite brands or stores like your average consumer.
I think one of the problems is that we don't have go-to brands, actually. I think what we're discovering here is that we need go-to brands and we don't have them.
Hopefully our stylists can help solve that problem for us. As we went through filling out survey question after survey question, we noticed that this time things felt a bit different. Significantly more thoughtful than the quizzes that we took in round 1. With Jamie, we saw a lot more effort to get to know us personally, asking about our preferences for metals, do we usually go to a tailor, what influences the items that we're picking when getting dressed in the morning, even stuff about our aversions.
Oh, do you have any textile preferences or aversions?
Oh, that's smart. That's a really smart question.
Yeah.
And while Stephanie and I are certainly down to clown with any fabric, we did really appreciate that Jamie was looking out for her clients with questions like that. Once we got over to Teresa's questions, it was clear that she was here to do one job: teach. I would like to learn more about the following: how to shop on my own,
I think that's a great one.
how to accessorize, how to use my clothing in multiple ways, how to elevate my look, what cuts are best for my body type and frame. I mean, I'd like to learn all of these things.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie about this. My hopes.
not gonna lie. My style was just very basic. My style was just a t-shirt and sweats. But when it comes to YouTube, I wear the exact same thing. This hat, usually just kind of this mask, my jacket, and long black pants, which cut off because I don't feel comfortable with my legs being sewn at the
At
moment.
this point, we're pretty darn high. Like the feeling I get when you take the time to subscribe to the channel. While it may be the end to my time hosting, it's not the end of the channel by a long shot. Style Theory ain't going anywhere, my friends, and to make sure that you never miss an upload, you should smash that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time a new video goes live. Like the one that we have coming up next week that's gonna put Amy into a bit of a hairy situation. Can she wind up shaving the day? Well, it's all to answer a question that you've been asking us for months. So go ahead, subscribe, become a part of one of the fastest growing communities here on YouTube, and prepare for all the amazing adventures that Amy has coming up in the new generation of Style Theory. But for now, it's time to return back to my closet. And as the sun rose on day 1 of our try-on shoot, we were ready to be wowed by the professionals. All right, so we are here with Teresa and Lauren, and you guys have been doing styling for how long?
Well, about 10 years now for me. Refined has been in business for 5, and Lauren joined me 2.5 years ago.
But they have a wealth of experience, certainly way more than we have, and we are so excited and a little bit nervous to have you guys here in our closet.
We'll be gentle, I promise.
So I'm gonna hold you to that, Teresa. So how do you go about bridging that gap from being strangers to like, hey, now you're my trusted fashion advisor?
Well, it depends on what service you're interested in. So today we're going to be doing a closet audit where we're focused mainly on what you already own. So with that, it's just getting to know someone's style, how they're wearing things now, their lifestyle, and how we can like take that to the next level, how we can elevate it and make it more interesting, more fashion forward, and make it make sense.
I'm super excited to sort of get another perspective and get a sense of someone else's outside observation of, you know, how we're doing and how we dress and what would, you know, maybe work better for us. Because I think that's something that everyone has a really hard time of getting an outsider's perspective of themselves. And it's so valuable because you get to see yourself in a whole new light.
Exactly.
Starting off right away, they really leaned into this learning process, and as we all know, I love learning. Teresa and Lauren really wanted to dig in and understand us so they could give us the best advice possible, and I was ready to bear it all. At least bear all my wardrobe. To make things easier, we actually lined up a bunch of our clothes that are usually stored in drawers or hangers behind the camera setup, so it's usually not this much of a mess in here. Promise. During the closet audit, Teresa and Lauren went through all of our items, removing anything they thought didn't serve us anymore. It could have been because of fit, color, vibe. If they pull it, we donate it. Or at least that's the way they normally work, making sure that any lightly used clothing is going to those in need and not just being wasted in a landfill somewhere. And it's at this point, loyal theorists, that I need to take a moment to apologize. I've been hiding something from you this entire time. I've gone through a closet audit like this before, and it was not pretty.
So, true story, I had a closet audit like this, but more so it was a closet intervention.
He was a resident assistant for freshmen. So the people he's RAing for are younger than he is, and they staged the intervention. There was one pair of shorts and 2 t-shirts left at the end.
I was gonna say, yeah,
That was it.
It
Yeah.
was terrible,
Yeah.
and it sucked, but I felt so much better and more confident on the other end about
there you go.
understanding my style and what was and wasn't working. When I'm walking around with a bunch of Reebok windbreakers that are 2 sizes too big, or pleated pants that look like I ripped them off of MC Hammer.
Not one pleat, like
What?
8 pleats.
A lot of
Yeah.
volume in the crotch area. My groin was ballooning all over the place. You know, teenage matpats, like, wow, this is making me look great. And then literally everyone around me is like, wow, that guy looks like a weirdo. And one thing that over the last couple days of filming, since we filled out the survey, we feel like we fit into this uncanny valley of style.
We feel a bit stuck in this middle space right now.
And that's kind of the beauty of like personal style is it can be unique to you. You don't have to follow trends. You can buy into the trends that you like. I find a lot that people who are constantly chasing the next new trend are always going to look dated. When you look back at pictures, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Because you were wearing everything that was popular at one time instead of really cultivating a complete wardrobe that really feels like you and things you really love.
Feeling a lot better about the purge that was about to occur, we were ready to dive in.
Let's kick off the closet audit. First impressions, I'd love to get your take.
I would say organization-wise,
I call it
10 out of
closet.
10. I really...
Type A is coming.
I call it closet purging. I've never done one of these before. It's to my memory, but I just call it purging because I prefer to say that than auditing.
Coming through again.
Yes,
Our
yes, I
overachieving.
appreciate the categorization. That makes it easy, not only for me, but for you.
Would you say like at a very foundational level, like even if you do nothing else with your wardrobe, like categorize it?
Oh, for sure. We developed something called the SOSC method. Break down your wardrobe first by season, by occasion, by style, and then by color.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of times just removing everything you can't wear right now from what you're looking at every day just makes it so much easier. There's a lot less clutter to rifle through to find what you're looking for. Also separating by occasion, having like your work wardrobe here and your everyday wardrobe here, so you can kind of like zero in on things, and there can be some crossover, and that's totally fine.
They were speaking our language. Organization, categories, scientific methods. All we needed was a color-coded Excel sheet and we'd be in heaven.
Since I've been through this before and I've had that Band-Aid ripped off.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
You can-
We'll
you can
ease
start with
in
me.
with you. We've heard that the t-shirt and the fun jacket's kind of like your go-to formula,
Yeah,
right?
that's very easy for me. I actually change clothes probably 6 times a day because of the different amounts of filming that we're doing. A jacket and an easy t-shirt is very easy for me to swap between a lot of
Wait,
different
hold on.
outfits. That's
Wait,
kind
hold
of the comfort zone that I fit in.
So maybe
Hold
today
on.
we could
Because
Hold
of
on.
the different amounts of filming that we're doing, a jacket and an easy t.
I kid you not, I have this exact shirt. I don't know why I decided to mention that, but I actually do have that shirt. I'm not gonna show it off. Maybe due to the fact that I don't feel like showing my clothes unless I'm actually gonna wear it, but to some point I actually have that
T-shirt is very easy for me
Not
to
that actually
swap
matters.
between a lot of different outfits. That's kind of the comfort zone that I fit in.
So maybe today we can try to create 1 or 2 different formulas that
That'd
are
be great.
easy for you to go to, and also identify some ways to style these things a little differently. For example, like this.
Yes.
Do you wear it often?
That is a souvenir item that I got from the Harajuku district in Japan. I love it, but yeah, when it comes to like actually wearing in a day-to-day
Yeah.
setting, not so much.
So is this something you would want to wear more, or in your mind is this more just like I have it because it's a memory?
If I could figure out a way to wear it more often, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Because I love the color, I love the vibrancy, but I also know it's a very extreme piece.
Maybe there's something we can do today that will allow you to get more use out of.
Yeah, the spooky clown face pattern, we can make that work a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, there is clown faces on here.
Yeah, something about the hot pink clown
Oh,
face jacket
ow.
told me that I was probably going to be Teresa's most interesting client. But hey, she's a pro. So if anyone can figure out how to find styles that coordinate with spooky clowns, it's going to be her. Teresa really had a keen eye for finding new and interesting ways to mix and match our clothes that we already had. For example, I have a number of button-down shirts that I only wear for formal occasions like weddings, and tend not to wear them for anything other than that. But
Same
Teresa
here.
suggested that I take one of my sweaters and layer that on top for a brand new look, and it totally worked. I gotta say, I really appreciated how supportive our top-tier stylists here were. Rather than just being like, oh, you should get rid of this, or oh, that's ugly, Teresa made sure to ask us what we really liked about each and every piece. If we liked it and wanted to wear more, well, she would put it aside and figure out a way to work on it later. And when she did think that it was time for me to let an item go, she had a very gentle way of making it known.
So this,
Yes,
do you wear it much?
I haven't in years.
Okay, good. Let's get rid of it.
Okay.
It's a little dated.
It's my safari shirt.
It's not super interesting, and I think that, and you'll hear me say this a lot, like, I think you're too cool for this shirt.
We ended up spending over an hour meticulously going through each and every item in my wardrobe. We found a couple of items that it was time to let go of, but we also picked out a couple of pieces that I really like, but never really found a good way of wearing. And Teresa was prepared to give us advice on how to wear them, but first we had to go through Steph's side of the closet.
What's your formula?
So for the months between September and like April, I'm a jeans and sweater gal. I'll have visual interest up here and I'll tend to go pretty boring on the bottom. I love to incorporate fun shoes, but because I have a kid, because I'm walking around all the time, the really dainty high heel like part of my life, that's in the past.
The metallic pink platforms?
No, those are okay. So we went to the premiere of the Mario movie and I went hardcore peachcore. So
okay.
it was all pink and those were the shoes for that particular moment.
I already
So-
put together an outfit in my head. When we first got here, we were kind of playing around with those shoes.
Oh, I would love an excuse to wear those again.
Teresa being drawn to the pink platforms definitely gave her a couple of points in my book. She wasn't afraid of some of the wild and crazy options that existed in her closet. In fact, she was trying her best to lean into them. Why? Because she could tell that those were the items that Stephanie and I really enjoyed. I could see the gears working in her mind as she tried to find ways to make these difficult items.
I'll be back, guys. My old sister got here, and I want to spend some time with her because I don't really get to see her as much as I used to. Like, few times a year I actually get to see her, so I'm gonna cut the grace and I'm gonna spend some time with her. Okay, back.
Into new fashionable attire, and that definitely included ditching things that didn't quite suit our current era.
So this was Stephanie when she worked a desk job. At the time that I bought this was an investment piece for me. This is Banana Republic. This is not a $20 shirt. This was like, whoa, a $35 shirt. I still in my brain view it as this really nice piece I have, even though looking at it now, I'd be like, I would never pick this up off the rack. Same with this piece, I haven't worn it in a while. I put it on when we went through our wardrobe and I was like, this still looks okay. I was like, it's not covered in cat hair or pills, so can't I just keep wearing it?
You know that the baseline is pretty low when it's, is it covered in cat hair or pills? Also, just for the sake of everyone at home, when we say covered in pills, we're not talking about like medication.
No, like the little linty pills.
Teresa and Lauren took us through each of Stephanie's pieces, saw what worked, what we wanted to elevate, and what could get the axe. Even helped us find a lot of gaps in our wardrobe.
Do you have a turtleneck? There were a few things where I was like, if she had a black turtleneck.
That's all I do.
We can identify a gap.
But one thing I know we'll never succeed in getting Stephanie to do, remove a price tag.
Why are the tags still on
Because
this?
you don't take the tags off your clothes.
Between the two of us, we filled up an entire clothing rack of pieces that we loved but needed help learning to style properly. So Teresa and Lauren combined their fashion powers to give our old clothes new life. And I, for one, was excited to see what they had in store.
Okay, I'm standing in the hot seat, and I gotta say, I love this. This is so good. And again, it's all stuff that I already had in my closet and didn't use. Like these corduroys, I haven't worn them since I bought them. This shirt, I've only reserved for formal events with the family that are too boring for my other fun shirts. It brings such fresh life to these pieces that I had no idea what to do with.
It's like getting new clothes.
You guys think I wear this every day?
It also
Great.
feels significantly
I
less
don't.
wasteful.
And that right there, that was a big win.
My
With
face is
nearly
done in school,
11.3 million tons of textile waste ending up in landfills each year in America.
The only part of my outfit that I actually wear outside of YouTube is my jacket. Like, this is the only part of my YouTube outfit that I actually wear out of YouTube. Like, I wear it like every day at school, so. You're gonna ask one of the kids at my school if it's true, because it is. At school, basically, it's the exact same thing. T-shirt, long pants, a jacket. That's it. Nothing else.
Erica, learning to reuse and give new life to clothing that you already have not only helps you save money, it can also have a large-scale impact on the environment. Don't you love it when everything comes together?
So this is me in my first outfit. This is the a casual look. Again, same as Matthew. This is taking stuff that was underutilized in my wardrobe or never.
I forgot his name is Matthew.
Putting it together in a way that feels super comfortable. I do like these shoes, but I never would wear them.
Pretty sure we all forgot his name is Matthew Patrick and not Matpat.
Like a cool Miami grandpa. I love this.
I was gonna say, I have not seen you looking this relaxed. Even in your relaxed clothing,
I know.
You're not this relaxed. It embodies your sense of style and your personality, but in something that feels easy, but still looks put together.
The outfit was given Palm Beach Barbie, though I was still looking for my Kenspiration to show up in this outfit. Maybe we'd have a bit more luck in the next one.
All right, outfit 2. This one, a lot more extreme. And I like how this has come together. You're mixing a really extreme pattern with another really extreme pattern, and I'm curious how you did that. I worry that if I were to try to recreate something like this or do something similar, that it would become like super messy and cluttered and confusing.
There are some kind of guidelines you can think about. So a really easy way to start mixing patterns is to just stick with patterns with the same colors. If anything has just like 2 or 3 colors, finding another pattern that has at least 1 or 2 of those colors represented will help. And then you want some diversity in the size of your pattern. So a smaller pattern with a larger pattern. So here your shirt has a little bit of smaller, more busy pattern, whereas this is like a huge graphic.
Even though we all agreed that the outfit wasn't perfect, the lesson still stood. I've always liked bright colors and patterns, but whenever I tried to mix them before, it ended up less maximalist and more just maximum eyesore. But Teresa was able to set me up with a formula that I could follow, kind of like the Pythagoras of personal styling. Next outfit.
Oh God.
Ta-da!
Can you stop proving my math teacher correct that you need math for your future?
Can you stop?
Really, dude, can you please not?
Outfit number 2, again, very unexpected. I feel like we've both taken a step into the louder end of the spectrum, putting together this vest, which I love, tucking it in, which is something I never would have thought of, but gives it a whole other level of structure, pairing it with a polka dot here and a polka dot here. Not something I ever would have done, and I look at myself and I'm like, oh, this is so fun. I'm really enjoying this. I like looking at myself in the mirror. I make myself smile. This is a big win for me.
And because we were all having so much fun playing dress up, Teresa and Lauren actually threw in a bonus outfit for both of us free of charge.
This is it. This is awesome. I love this. I love this outfit. I think it's so cool. It is so fun. I feel so fresh and hip and alive. I've had these pants in my drawer for a long time, but I don't know what to do with brown pants. You have allowed me to find a jacket and an outfit and a complete ensemble here that uses them and makes me feel cool wearing them.
Matthew wears brown!
Matthew wears brown!
Yay!
Getting me to enjoy wearing a neutral, a khaki, was actual witchcraft. Steph was also feeling the magic.
I was told that no arms needed in this one. It's more of a cape situation.
Exactly.
This is a really easy outfit for me to wear. These are jeans that I've had and I love and I wear all the time. Same goes with the shirt. I really like this one. This is one I've had for a while and that I also really enjoy, but don't always know the right thing to pair with. And then I've gotten to break out shoes that I haven't worn in years. I love these shoes and I just haven't had a moment where I thought that they looked sophisticated enough, but actually, together, I think this all looks really nice.
Sure, they had the advantage of using our own existing clothing, but each look gave new life to pieces that had been sitting around for years, waiting to be worn. Not only did they give us the building blocks to do this by ourselves, they were able to give us clear, concise reasons for each outfit they were making, each item that they were removing, and even taking some of our most wild pieces and turning them into something that felt more wearable. In total, we spent $900 for the 2 closet audits, and $0 on new
Jesus
clothing items. Though Teresa did
Christ.
provide us with a post postmortem on what items she would recommend we get to fill in the gaps in our wardrobe. All in all, it was a big win for both of us, which meant it was time for our final option. We were turning to someone we knew, someone we trusted, someone who had seen us on our good days and our not so good days, to see if that personal connection with us could unlock the final piece of this entire puzzle, the piece that we were still missing, pushing us out of our comfort zone just enough to elevate our style to the next level.
Today we're joined by Jamie Daniels, who is a longtime friend of ours.
We've known Jamie for about 4 years.
What's especially cool is that we didn't know that this side of Jamie existed until just recently. It only came to our attention that you've been doing this for what now? 3 years?
3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what got you into it?
My love of fashion started with my mom. My mom was a businesswoman. She worked for a Fortune 500 company, and so she always wore dresses, pantsuits, skirt suits, heels every single day.
She's a stylish lady.
She is. She's so stylish. I always wanted to emulate her style. I was encouraged in college to go into a career in either medicine or the allied health profession, so I kind of did that, but I always missed fashion. So I started creating these OOTDs, and people started giving me compliments. My family just encouraged me to do this as a side business, and so I've been doing it for the past 3 years. I just love fashion so much, and I like helping other people find their fashion too.
Over the previous week, Jamie had taken our survey answers and designed each of us a custom lookbook. In it, she provided both of us a set of casual, professional, and formal options.
So first, here's just my little notebook. As soon as Stephanie brought this opportunity to me, I immediately went home and I scribbled down so many different things, like designers that I thought would really work for Stephanie, coquettish, girly, with fun quirks, different type of accessories that Stephanie would have.
Immediately, we could tell the amount of thought and planning that went into Stephanie's lookbook. Unlike what happened with the Fiverr stylist, Jamie wasn't just trying to get Stephanie to fit a mold of pre-selected items, she was trying to fit the items to Stephanie. As for me, well,
I'm a blank
Is it
page.
just that?
Just bright colors and leathers.
what can I say? I'm a simple man, I have simple, vibrant tastes. And then she said something unexpected.
I want to go back to Ken. There's so many different Kens. So I went back and watched the movie just because of you. It wasn't a bad reference at all because there's so many different Kens. There's beach Ken, there's formal wedding Ken, villain Ken, Ken in leather, mermaid Ken. I tried to find a tail for you. It would not come in time.
Why does
I
it-
was really excited about it.
Why does that-
Great.
Yet even with no mermaid look, Jamie
Why does every
didn't
white
give
character
me
have the exact same
character I
name?
was looking for. At long last, someone
Why does every
understood
black
the
character have the
assignment.
exact
But
same
before I could
name?
truly celebrate, we need to go through the lookbook.
Okay, so take us through the lookbook.
When I think of you, I also thought of Back to the Future for some reason.
It is one of my favorite movies.
I'm guessing
I
Marty.
actually think that's so on point. Like, it's nerdy and sciencey, sure, but it's also whimsical and like kind of tongue-in-cheek, which I think embodies a lot of your
I mean,
vibe.
it does look a bit like Marty
I think
McFly.
our reaction says it all.
Ooh.
It does
She
look
was
a bit
setting
like
up some
Marty
baby steps to
McFly.
ease us out of our comfort zone.
So is this jacket also for me?
Yes, it is. I thought it would be a great way to kind of get you away from leather.
That's fair.
Speaking of jackets, it turns out that Stephanie has been the true jacket influencer this entire time.
I already knew you also had a very structured jean jacket
Yes,
in your wardrobe.
I
that
love it.
everyone should always
I've had it
use.
for years.
I bought one just because you had one.
Look at you, style influencer Stephanie.
That's never happened before.
As we browsed through the rest of Jamie's lookbook selections, we were happy to see a wide variety of interesting and quirky options that we were excited to try on. Once again, Amy and Ash teamed up to shop for 2 outfits each for us to try on, picking items that they felt best showcased what Jamie had to offer while still pushing us out of our comfort zones. Starting with something that would truly make Ken proud, a pair of pinkish pants. Kind of more red, I guess.
All right, so casual outfit number 1. I gotta say, I like this one. I like this one a lot.
I think you look great.
This is really cool. Across the board, I love the playfulness of the shirt. I think the color is great. I think the contrast is nice. It's fun without being too loud and in your face. I like structure. That was the one thing that I hit over and over again on all the different surveys. I like things that are polished and structured. The white shirt does that, but the layer on top shows that, hey, I can also be relaxed and fun.
Structured but not stuffy.
Yep, that's exactly it, Steph. It only took us 2 giant episodes and me leaving the channel to finally figure out how to describe my style. Structured, but not stuffy. Perfect. Someone make me a Pinterest board to commemorate it. And Steph, at this point, was bursting at the seams waiting for her turn.
Steph, go for it.
Ta-da!
I love this cardigan on you so much.
I love everything about the top half of this, for sure. I'm in love with this sweater. This is like the new staple of my wardrobe now. It's so comfortable, it's oversized. I really like this skirt. Where I struggle a little bit is with the shoes. That's the only thing.
But I
Pieces-
completely agree with you though. Now that I'm seeing it like all together, I think I would pair it maybe with your loafers or some
Ooh.
booties. I think that would be a much better fit.
But I think that this is overall so fun. I love the slouchy look with the skirt. All I think I need here is maybe a slight adjustment in the shoe, and and I think we're there.
And with 2 wins solidly under our belt, we were ready to take this party from day to night with our formal options.
I gotta say, I love this. I am so floored by everything that I'm wearing right now. I wish that we were hosting the Streamy Awards again this year, so that way I could bust this out. This is everything that I want a formal wear suit to look at.
I don't think I can properly express on camera how much I love this suit. Jamie knocked it out of the park. We all collectively agreed that the butterfly bow tie was a bit much, but once we took it off, it opened everything up on the suit. It was a complete win across the board. The fit was flattering, the shoes helped tone down the busy floral pattern, the lightweight cotton material meant that I wouldn't be sweating up a storm. It even came with one of my favorite things of all time, lore.
I also want to just call out immediately, as I was getting dressed, I noticed some of the tags. The marriage might fail you, but this suit won't. That's dark, man.
There was even a tag on the pants that said till death, but I didn't have time to solve the mystery because Steph was ready to strut her stuff.
I also love this. I think you and I work very well. This is incredible.
This little thing? So taking this off the rack, I would say extremely unexpected for me personally.
As much as I want to make a list of this, I'm not gonna.
Up in the store. I love this color. I love a sleeve with some volume. I ended up thinking that this was really flattering. Like, I never look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, you just have legs for days, girl. And look, legs for days. I think this is so fun.
And that was the word that we kept coming back to time and time again here. Fun. Jamie spoke to the part of us that just liked to play with wild patterns and bright, vibrant colors, which was exactly what we asked for from the very beginning. And her familiarity with our normal styles meant that she could easily look at an item and know if it would flatter us. I think that this gives strong supporting evidence for the fact that if you have someone in your life that you trust and whose style you admire, ask them for advice. Get them to pick out a couple of items that they think might look good on you. As your friend, they want you to look good, and they can guide you along the path to testing out a style. So while she did end up being the most expensive option of the entire experiment, ringing in at a whopping $1,429, though to be fair, she did buy an entire suit, multiple pairs of shoes, a giant party dress, and a ton of accessories, I couldn't deny that Steph and I loved the way that we looked. We finally felt pushed outside of the box that we'd been trapped in for years. It was our style, but a new evolution to our style, something that was slightly elevated from where we were before.
When you actually think about it, Steph and I fall into this weird middle area where, we're parents, and as a result, there are certain expectations with being close to 40. But we do not dress like close to 40-year-olds. And that doesn't really reflect our style. I think a lot of the stuff that we were trying on with Stitch Fix was probably closer to where people our age are expected to dress.
Well,
right?
I just think that people in their 30s in general are expected to be in the middle of their career. So they're expected to likely be going into an office. They're expected to probably be either parents or thinking about becoming parents. So they're thinking about like buttoned up school events, more like functional clothes where you can work with your kids, less stuff that's going to be fragile or delicate or require a lot of maintenance. And so you end up with these silhouettes and these outfits that are not too fun. There's literally like the dad uniform and the mom uniform, and if you're falling outside of that, you stand out at like school events, you stand out in places like kids' birthday parties. We also just stand out in the general public of people who are usually going into an office for a job, where we debate each morning if we're gonna walk down to the office wearing shoes or not. So we fall outside of a lot of the expectations, and we don't want to dress to the expectations that everyone around us.
We're not just falling out from like people in our age range and our life stage in a lot of cases, but also in our industry. Our industry, this digital video world that we exist in, it is the era of TikTok and young teenagers and early 20-somethings, and we're not them. And so if we try to dress in the like most fashionable, trendy things that are circulating right now, it doesn't work for us because that's just not who we are.
That's just not interesting to us. I think we want to have a nice balance of like being fun and also thinking about pieces that are lasting. It's a tricky balance to strike.
Taking into account our experience in the first episode with Fiverr and Stitch Fix versus our 2 stylists today, there is one thing that is abundantly clear. Personal interaction, that one-on-one consultation time, it is the key to getting the most out of any styling service. While Jamie and Teresa were certainly on the pricier side of the spectrum up front, long-term, we're talking about a different story. By teaching you and setting you up with the skills and confidence that you need to approach your clothing in a new way, they are saving you money in the long term. Because with Stitch Fix and Fiverr, you have to keep going back to them for more and more options, spending more and more money on service fees, and clothes that, let's face it, are statistically less likely to fit your style. Then you're stuck with a pile of textiles just rotting away in your closet that you're not going to be using all that often, and now you're out a significant amount of money on top of it. It is a lose-lose across the board. So in the end, who really wins? It was me and Steph, because we've been able to go on this journey together. And I'm not just talking about the stylists. As my time of this channel comes to an end, as this timer finally ticks down to 0, I can't help looking back on the crazy idea that we had so many years ago.
Our feet shoes, but hey, that's just a theory.
A style theory.
Stay beautiful.
Stay beautiful.
Oh, that's such a
yes.
good catchphrase.
Done.
Back then, I had no idea what this channel would look like. What wild adventures we'd go on here. Over the course of this past year, I've gotten to test edible underwear, open your eyes to the crimes of some of the biggest sellers in the space, even permanently tattoo a checkerboard pattern onto my skin. I am legitimately concerned that it is a permanent tattoo. That'll be a weird souvenir to take away from this channel, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. More than any of the other channels, Style Theories brought the team together in ways none of us ever expected. When you take mud baths and showers together and then film it all for content, yeah, that'll do it. It's not every day that you hear your analytics guy singing in the shower.
Take me out to the ball game.
But that journey's also been helpful for all of us in different ways. Ash's wardrobe, for instance, completely changed thanks to the Color for Skin Tone episode, and they look and feel great about those changes. 5 members of the team literally threw away their old makeup thanks to the Poison Makeup episode. I will never forget my sunscreen ever again, and I think we all pay a bit more attention to our flossing habits thanks to that toothbrush episode. And you know what? I'm so excited for what's to come. I may not be voicing the next generation of episodes, but I'm gonna be watching along in the background. Just like you guys, I'm gonna be there in the audience, learning and growing in my own personal style journey. Once a theorist, always a theorist. And honestly, this isn't gonna be the last time that you see me either. I told you at the start of the episode that I had a huge announcement. And no, I'm not rescinding my retirement or anything like that. But the team and I have actually been working on a huge project, a huge event, Creators in Fashion. This is gonna be a never-before-seen type of event happening here on YouTube. We're bringing the glamour of Fashion Week and runway shows to you, and we're not doing it alone. We're gonna be joined by tons of your favorite creators, both on and off the runway, as we turn the spotlight on all the hard work that creators have been doing. They're designing apparel, they're building businesses and brands on par with some of the biggest names that you see in Vogue or walking in Fashion Week. And we want to give them all a moment to shine here live on the channel, on Style Theory. In just over a month, on April 25th, we're going to be doing the biggest thing to hit fashion in a long time. We're going to be live streaming the first ever Creators in Fashion event live, right here on Style Theory, and you're going to be a part of it. You know who else is going to be a part of it? Me, because I'm going to be returning to help host the show alongside Amy, as well as a couple other surprise appearances. So mark it on your calendars, my friends, April 25th, 2024. Creators in Fashion happening right here on Style Theory. So while I might be saying goodbye today, and I won't be hanging out with you here every week, I'm not gone forever, but I am confident that I'm leaving this channel in good hands. Amy has been here since the beginning. She loves this channel just as much as I do. I highly recommend that you get to know a little bit more about your new host thanks to the playlist that we put on the top shelf of the channel page to celebrate and surprise Amy. Even on my way out, I got a couple surprises up my sleeve. So good luck, Amy, and to all of you loyal Style Theorists, I'll see you back here on April 25th. And so for one final time, I say to you, that's just a theory. A style theory. Keep looking sharp. Remember, beauty is a science. I didn't use that one enough. I could have used it a little bit more.
Well, that's Style Theory out the way.
Well,
It's actually sad that he's now gone, but... But that's Style Theory, so... I'll see you guys on Food Theory now. Okay, so here's his first video on film.
Hello,
Food Theory.
Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, where brain food is always on the menu. If debunking the food pyramid, dissecting Kool-Aid Man's deep comic book lore, or strategizing how to win McDonald's Monopoly game sounds appetizing to you, then you, my friend, are a food theorist and should consider
When the
joining
Kool-Aid
our
Man have a
community of
comic?
theorists, already millions strong from across the game theory and film theory channels. Ever wonder how psychology might be able to get you a bigger Chipotle burrito? Or the dark secret behind the history of cornflakes? Do you want to know how to erase the curse of Colonel Sanders? Join us as we bust food myths, play with our food, and develop consumer hacks, all designed to save you money. So if any of those sound even
How much did I
remotely
miss?
interesting to you, take a big bite out of that subscribe button. Bon appetit, my friends.
Better than the last one. Okay, so here's his most popular video, How Long Can You Survive Walking in a Grocery Store? Which Mr. Beast did a video on, but of course, the choice was that he would take stuff away, so we don't know exactly how. So let's see how long it actually takes you to die in a grocery store.
Nothing like reading some comments first thing in the morning. Oh, this one looks interesting.
Food theory idea. How long could you survive in a locked supermarket just using the food in there?
Huh, that one's really good. I'll have to think about it.
1.
Yeah, that is a pretty good question.
God. Whoa. Hey. quit, man. Have they been the government?
Hello, Internet!
Quick, man, have
Welcome
these
to
been
Food
going?
Theory, the show you can still safely consume well past its expiration date. Theorists, I just want to start off by saying how much I love the theory ideas you submit, especially when they result in episodes like the one today. But, as I soon learned, answers like these are not easy to come by, friends. I mean, I originated pixel measurements. I have been finding numbers where numbers don't exist for a decade now.
What?
But grocery store survival may just be one of the trickiest challenges that I faced in the last 10 years of making you.
A grocery store would be a good place to get walked in if you're in some kind of a zombie apocalypse like that.
Grocery store would be a good place.
There can be
to
plenty of
walk
food
in.
around you, but the only downside would be the zombies trying to break in. Like,
There can be plenty
you
of
better,
food
you better,
around but
you better
the
do a
downside
Kevin
would be
McAllister
zombies trying
and
to
booby
break
trap
in.
that whole grocery store, else you're better serve the zombie
You better do
food.
a Kevin McAllister.
I mean, it's either that or like the
Grocery
one
store,
TV
you better
players.
serve the zombie food.
Honestly, wedding paper doesn't really matter now because it got canceled. We'll just continue the video.
Two videos. For one thing, we're
I
dealing with
apologize for
a
that.
lot of food products here. See, each distinct product in a
I
grocery
apologize
store
for
gets
that.
assigned an SKU, or stock keeping unit. The average grocery store has an SKU count of about 33,000. That is 33,000 different product offerings. And that's not even taking into account the multiples of each item that the store has in its inventory, which means that even an average sized grocery store likely has hundreds of thousands of items on its shelves. But how long can those items actually sustain a human being? In order to answer that, we'll need to go a step beyond counting the number of items and actually quantify the amount of food in a grocery store. After all, not every item in a grocery store is edible, and those that
Yeah.
are edible have drastically different nutritional values. Plus, there's an
Yeah.
added layer of complexity that has to be taken into account here.
Okay, exploration.
Boil it.
Yeah, that is actually a massive problem.
Okay,
I
exploration.
mean, I remember those.
Yeah,
I remember this
that is
grocery store got
actually
abandoned, and none of the owners took any of the food out. And apparently, it was so bad that the people in there had to go in hazmat suits, and yet they still couldn't see anything through the visors because how many maggots and flies there were. So maybe getting locked in a grocery store isn't that good of an idea.
This is actually one of our biggest factors because it's not as though our hypothetical person trapped inside the grocery store can just eat millions and millions of calories on day one before anything spoils and then coast off of body fat for the next 50 years. Sadly, the human stomach can only hold so much. This is coming from experience. Test those limits each and every time I step foot inside a cheesecake factory. So this means that our hypothetical
Well, you
person,
never
what I'm
caught
gonna
out.
call Evan, in honor of today's commenter, is gonna have to employ an actual strategy to maximize the amount of food going into his stomach and minimize the amount of food that's going to spoil. Theorists, today's prompt is an absolute beast that has a lot of moving parts. That's what's gonna make it so fun to answer. Hope you've all worked up an appetite for knowledge, that is, because today we're sinking our teeth into supermarket survival. For today's purposes, we're gonna quantify food in terms of calories. The FDA uses 2,000 calories per day as a general guide for nutrition advice, though they're also quick to admit that this is an oversimplification and there's really no one-size-fits-all number for caloric intake. But for this
Yeah.
hypothetical exercise, it's gonna have to do the trick. We're also gonna assume that Evan is locked inside an average-sized grocery store, which these days is about 38,000 square feet according to Progressive Grocer. And that's actually fantastic news for us because one of our food theory field researchers, Luke, just so happens to live up the street from a grocery store exactly that size. See, today's episode is gonna require some good old-fashioned elbow grease, friends. This is a very specific question that we're attempting to answer, and the very specific inventory information that we need isn't publicly available knowledge. In order to get that info, we have no choice but to count the calories of grocery store items manually. And if that sounds like a ridiculous amount of work, yes. But this is food theory, people. If we're not gonna answer the question that one person was curious about in the comments, then who else will? Finally, we need to make a couple of assumptions about Evan's circumstances. We're gonna actually assume that the power's out in Evan's post-apocalyptic survival scenario. That means no ovens, no refrigerators, and no freezers. We'll also assume that he has no running water. Why are we making things so hard on poor Evan? Well, because our answer becomes more useful that way. If we determine that Evan can live out his entire natural lifespan inside a worst-case scenario grocery store with no utilities, then we know that he can also live a full lifespan inside a grocery store where water is easy to come by, and the shelf life of many foods can be extended using refrigeration. So, with all that housekeeping out of the way, the time has finally come to determine Evan's fate. How long is the maximum amount of time that one person can survive inside of a grocery store? Well, let's talk about that crucial first day. Me, I see it playing out a little something like this. Disheveled, Evan's stomach assembles into a strikingly average-sized grocery store. In this case called Stater Brothers, but it could be interchangeable for any around the US. He frantically locks the doors behind him. Outside, some super intense doomsday scenario is raging on. I'm thinking aliens, zombies, alien zombies. You know, the works. The only other person with a key to the store is also the person with a key to Evan's heart, his true love, Theorista. Together they swore that if they were ever separated amid the chaos, they would rendezvous here, at the Stater Brothers, where they started their love in the frozen food aisle. Being the first to arrive, it is now Evan's sacred duty to wait and to survive for as long as he possibly can without leaving. Look, we put a lot of work into this episode. We are gonna amp it up with the drama. The grocery store's power is out, which means that the dairy section and the deli section are gonna be the first to spoil. Evan knows that he has to act quickly. Bacteria can render room temperature dairy and raw meat too dangerous for human consumption within hours. So if those calories are gonna count his survival, he's gonna have to move, and move fast. Evan's first order of business is to begin extending the shelf life of any quick spoiling foods he possibly can. Evan knows that in addition to calories, his body needs 20 different amino acids in order to survive, plus a variety of minerals and vitamins. So the more varied his diet is, the better. Amino acids, you gotta catch them all. Evan also knows that he should be able to extend the life of various raw meats by about a month or two. Even without refrigeration and electricity, the store has everything he needs. There's 377 pounds of salt in aisle 6 for curing the meat, and there's a downright shocking amount of fire building supplies in aisle 13 for smoking the meat. Via curing and smoking, he's able to save 120,000 calories worth of raw meat from spoiling, which, while impressive, is a mere fraction of the 10.7 million meat supplied calories that would be available to him in the section if things didn't spoil. But hey, extra time is extra time. By doing this all-important first step, Evan can ensure that red meat, poultry, and even seafood are a part of his diet for the first couple months of his grocery store stay. Plus, packaged deli meats like salami will last for a month or so unrefrigerated. The fire, which Evan built near an open window so the smoke can escape, continues to be useful even after the meat's been smoked. Evan is able to dehydrate fruits and veggies with some success over his primitive campfire setup. The dehydrated vegetables wind up with a shelf life of about 6 months, and the dehydrated fruits last up to a year. And perhaps best of all, the open window will allow Evan to collect rainwater from here to the rest of his stay once the bottled water runs out. So by spending his first days in the grocery store hard at work, Evan manages to secure a year's worth of calories out of food that would have otherwise spoiled in a matter of weeks. Way to go, Evan. Life handed you lemons and you made dehydrated lemons. Ever the overachiever though, Evan goes on and makes his already varied diet even more varied by working baked goods from the bakery section into his meals. Thanks to Ziploc bags, he's able to get a few good weeks out of the cookies and breads before they mold over. He also takes full advantage of the vitamins in aisle 10. Since many of the vitamins begin to lose their potency after a couple of years, Evan knows that he might as well use them early and often to round out his diet. Finally, after 1 year and more than 730,000 calories consumed, the dehydrated fruit begins to spoil, and Evan celebrates his 1-year anniversary inside the grocery store. But the celebration is a somber one, as there is still no sign of the fair Theorista. Once year 2 rolls around, Evan doesn't have to do nearly as much work. Well, aside from stirring the compost pile every once in a while, all the spoiled food from the deli, produce, dairy, and bakery sections really pile up. And that's not even mentioning the human waste. Ugh. These days, Evan is munching on foods with lengthy shelf lives, like dried pasta, white rice, rolled oats, powdered milk, molasses, potato flakes, whole wheat grains, factory-sealed jerky, dried beans, and lentils. In order to get some fruits and veggies into his diet, he also starts dipping into certain canned foods that have relatively short shelf lives due to their high acidity, such as canned fruit, pickles, and jellies. All told, these foods provide him with 5.1 million calories over the course of 7 years. When his 8th anniversary inside the grocery store arrives, life is pretty pleasant for Evan. You know, aside from the fact that his beloved Theorista has yet to show up. Evan understands that 2 types of food await him on the shelves from this point forward. Foods with indefinite shelf lives and factory-sealed foods that degrade over time. Indefinite shelf life foods include products like raw honey, Jell-O mix, sugar, hard alcohol, soy sauce, cornstarch, and others. These products, if stored properly, will be just as tasty and nutritious decades down the line as they are today. The same cannot be said for the foods in the second category. Foods like canned goods, wine, breakfast cereal, and peanut butter, which all degrade degrade over time. But it's worth knowing that these foods don't spoil like the raw meat and dairy did. As long as they remain unopened and completely sealed, these canned and factory sealed foods don't really become inedible, despite what their expiration dates might suggest. Now, it doesn't mean that the foods won't turn stale or rancid, they absolutely will. But even in their most disgusting forms, these foods won't make you ill, and they'll retain at least some of their nutritional value to Evan. That is, assuming he can manage to keep them down. After all, rancid peanut butter isn't exactly pleasant to eat, and perhaps the only thing less appetizing than eating wet dog food is eating expired wet dog food. Deep down, Evan knows that he needs to eat his way through the latter category first. So let's get to it. Stuff. Now, there are a lot of foods that fall into this category, which means Evan is forced to eat a lot of stale and rancid food over the next few decades. You heard that right, decades. The remaining canned goods alone account for 3.4 million calories, or 4.6 years worth of food. Because canned food is sterile and sealed, bacteria can't really get into it unless the can gets dented or damaged in some way. Similarly, factory sealed products like cereal, cookies, crackers, and chips will go stale and degrade over time, but they still should technically remain edible. This also applies to drinks such as soda, beer, and wine, and many jarred products like peanut butter and jarred nuts. All told, these products and others add up to 30.8 million calories. That is enough food to last Evan another whopping 42.2 years if he's able to space it out right. Now, it's hard to describe how unpleasant this 42.2 year stretch is for Evan. I mean, to get to this point, he would have had to have gone through 5,100 cans of wet pet food, but he persists. And now he gets to enjoy the good life again because the indefinite shelf life foods await him, and they all still taste great, even 50 years after he got first locked into this place. When added together, these indefinite shelf life products accounted for 13.1 years worth of food. And once those 13.1 years run out, well, the shelves are empty, and Evan runs out. As the final drop of vodka drips onto his tongue, Evan feels the icy grip of death overtake him. He collapses onto the ground, soon to become one with the compost pile he cultivated for so many decades. And as his eyes close forever, he finally gets the answer he so desperately sought as a younger man. 63.3 years. A person can survive locked inside a grocery store using only the food inside for 63.3 years. But suddenly, moments after Evan draws his final breath, we hear a key turn in the lock. It's Theresta. At long last, she's made it to their agreed-upon rendezvous point. She got waylaid for a few decades by, I don't know, what did I say, zombie aliens? Something? Anyway, through it all, she never stopped thinking about her true love, Evan. Alas, though, she's too late. Yeah, it is a super bummer of an ending. If only Evan had figured out a way to stay alive just a wee bit longer, they could have held each other one last time. But there's no way Evan could have pulled that one off. The shelves are empty. There's nothing else he could have done. Unless... That's right, theorists. Evan still has one last card to play, farming. A lot of grocery stores have at least a small flower section of potted plants. Our Stater Brothers was no different, and it had about 4 cubic feet of potting soil in all. This soil, of course, can be used to create a small garden with seeds and spores harvested from the produce section in the early days. Potatoes, which conveniently contain all the essential amino acids, are the crop that Evan probably should focus on when he first arrives in the store. Unfortunately, with such a limited supply of soil, Evan is never going to be able to survive entirely off his garden, even if he doubles his soil volume by mixing in 50% compost, which is the maximum ratio recommended. 8 cubic feet of soil can support about 24 potato plants. Each plant produces about 110 calorie potatoes per year, for 26,400 calories annually. Theorists, that is not even 2 weeks worth of food. If only there was a crop that could grow in 100% compost. After all, Evan's got way more than 4 cubic feet of that lying around, and his compost pile only grows bigger with every passing day. Well, I've got good news for you, Evan, because there is such a crop. It requires no sunlight to grow, minimal water, and is readily available in grocery stores. I'm talking mushrooms. Mushroom stems from the grocery store are really easy to propagate. Pretty much all you need to create a mushroom terrarium is an empty plastic bottle and coffee grounds. And of course, Evan has plenty of access to those. From there, mushrooms can be introduced into the compost pile. And from here, the numbers start working out in Evan's favor in a big way. 1 pound of button mushrooms contains 100 calories. A growing area of around 200 square feet can produce 5,000 pounds of mushroom per year. That means that in order to get the 2,000 calories per day he needs to survive, Evan would only need to plant about 3,000 square feet of button mushrooms. And in a 30,000 square foot grocery store, I don't think 10% of your floor space is too much to sacrifice for a crop that'll spare you the indignity of gulping down expired baby food. Between the mushrooms and the potato garden, Evan will have renewable resources of essential amino acids, vitamins, and minerals, not to mention a surplus of calories. So not only will farming allow Evan to survive long enough to see his beloved Theorista again, he won't have to eat a single expired food product along the way. So at long last, theorists, we're finally able to answer the question in full. Not only can a person survive their entire natural life locked inside of a grocery store using only the food inside, but that person's family and future generations can make do as well. Evan's story has a happy ending, and it's all thanks to farming. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. Thanks for supporting the Food Theory channel, friends. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would recommend heading over and watching our episode on pizza optimization next. We ran real-world tests to determine which pizza chain can give you the most bang for your buck. It's YouTube that you can use, so give her a watch, give that subscribe button a click, and I'll see you all next week.
I gotta check that out. Well, everyone, here it is. His last food theory.
So, this is it. It's the final episode of Food Theory, my friends. I'm sad, you know, because this has been a channel that's been really personal for me. Steph and I cooking in the kitchen for the last 4 years. There were so many awesome memes like stuff the cream in me and eating a Christmas tree and hot sauce.
I just can't believe it.
I know, Santi, I know. It's sad. I'm sad to be leaving. I'm excited for you, but it's a bittersweet moment, you know?
Wait, what? No, man. No. I'm pumped that you're leaving. I get to be host of Food Theory.
Yeah, that's
no. I just can't believe that you're gonna be gone, and I'm never gonna redeem myself for that stupid cake. Floam, nightmares, forever.
Wait, so hold on. It's my final episode, and you're just focused on your prime cake episode?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, if it means that much to you, you could make me a goodbye cake.
I can't.
Sure, I guess.
I can have a redemption arc?
I mean, it is my final episode, but yeah, I guess you can make it.
Yeah, whatever, that's fine. Wait right here. I got an idea.
All right.
I want it.
Oh God, what have I done?
His last episode's not about him.
I want it.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, where it's time for my just desserts. You know, when it comes to the 4 channels, Food Theory has always held a special place in my heart. Game Theory was the first. It's seen everything. Cell Theory has always been about the team. It's also the baby of the group. And Film Theory, it's Film Theory. I'm joking, obviously, but that is kind of the running meme about it. But Food Theory, it's always been a bit more personal, you know? It was born in the middle of COVID. It's the first that really required me to be on camera. It's the one that allowed me to connect with Steph in a completely different way, while also playing off my own personal fears and insecurities in the kitchen and with food. It's the one where I got to be wackier and a bit more unhinged from the usual format, and food, just by its nature, is more personal. I mean, for proof of that, all you gotta do is go check out the family recipe episode from 2 weeks ago, which is one of my all-time favorite episodes that we've ever done across any of the channels. By the way, on that note, thank you for all your comments on that video. It's been heartwarming to read all those stories. If there's ever been proof that the comments can still be a place that's positive and uplifting, that one right there, that is it. I've spent so much time down there just scrolling and reading with a smile on my face. It's been really beautiful, so thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyway, back to the point. Knowing how special the channel this has been, what better way to close out my time and transition over to the new host Santi than an episode dedicated to both of us. A celebratory cake for me, a redemption cake for him. You see, Santi's had a bit of a prime-sized chip on his shoulder from his last go-around trying to bake on this channel.
Can you show the camera kind of what's happening in the school?
No.
I think it would be really fun and exciting if you did.
You know what? I hate you all.
So, it only felt right to give him a second chance at the validation that he's been wanting so badly.
I'm ready, Matt.
Sure you are, Santi. So, that, my friends, is the challenge today. For Santi to make a finale cake. A cake that takes the best elements from the past 4 years of episodes and merges them together into one perfect bite. The ultimate Food Theory cake that embodies everything that this channel stands for. Well, everything except for the split icing.
Ha, ha. Very funny.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure I clarified. Make sure we're all working on the same page here. So, How you plan on delivering us this one perfect bite, Santi?
Well, I figured I'd bring in a couple of members of Team Theorists, ask them for their favorite episode, and then use those as the key ingredients for this cake.
If I may borrow a phrase from John Cena, are you sure about that?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, they're not gonna make it easy on you. In fact, I'd expect them to outright troll.
Yes, hi, hello, it is I, head editor Dan.
I love that you always feel the need to clarify that.
You guys keep putting it in the script. I'm just reading the lines, Matt.
So, what's your favorite episode of Food Theory?
Well, that's easy. It has to be the Mountain Dew pizza episode.
Rarely has there been a pizza that has actively made you want to brush your teeth after consuming it.
This is going to be really healthy. You're going to want to add
What?
this to all of
How?
your hot summer body diet.
Is that because it was one of the first ridiculous cooking episodes?
No.
Was it because that episode has the highest volume of puns per minute?
It most definitely was not.
Oh, I know it wasn't because of the camera work. That whole episode looked like we rubbed Vaseline over the lens.
If you must know, it's because that was the first episode I got to voice. And it gave me the chance to shade you in post the entire time.
Wait, who are you? This is my show.
It's me, head editor Dan. You hired me. He then added some food coloring to really give it that green pop it deserves, is what he wants me to say. But I know the truth. I see all the footage, Matt, and I know what really happened. He forgot to mix in the gel food coloring, and they had to scramble to try to put it back in. Here's the before, here's the after. Look, we're good editors, but we can't fix every mistake. Also, never say fix it in post, or I will come directly for you.
Oh my gosh, you are so right. I actually think that might have been the first episode that anyone outside of me got to voice. Must have just blocked that one out of my mind. Or maybe I was just delirious. Again, I was very sick for that episode. I mean, in total, I think there's been like, what, 4 episodes across the 2,000 videos we've done? No pressure there, Santi.
You do realize Mountain Dew is a terrible cake ingredient.
Yes, I do. Good luck.
As I was saying
I mean,
before,
I've seen Coca-Cola cake.
Oh, no, not all of them.
I mean,
just most. Next
I've
up, it's
seen
Kai,
Coca-Cola
our new
cake.
social media manager.
Kai, what's your favorite episode of Food Theory?
My favorite would probably have to be the Christmas tree episodes.
You've got to be kidding me.
Welcome to the job, bucko. I just said you had to make a cake. I didn't say that you also had to let other people choose the ingredients for you. You did that one for yourself. I'm sorry, Kai. Please continue.
Thanks. Overall, it was just a solid narrative arc. Watching the evolution from the first year with
I
the
went
stuff,
back
just munching on
from
the
the
bar.
maze.
Yep, it's tree. It's me, the tree.
My saliva is just getting sucked right into this stuff.
It smells like Christmas. Oh, it's so good. It's all so delicious.
To watching you make cookies out of them and pranking staff.
It's literal sawdust.
I mean, it's what? How much sawdust is in here?
30% by weight.
What?
And then finally getting to something that was actually edible and getting to be a part of that, that was nice.
You know, it's not that bad.
Wow.
We're fine.
You do realize who created those recipes, right? It was me.
Cool. Well,
Weak.
bye.
Thanks, Kai. Next up, Amy. Amy, what's your favorite episode of Food Theory? Santi's gathering ingredients for a grand finale cake.
Favorite episode? I think it has to be Panera Bread Gloves because it brings together my 2 favorite things in the world, fashion and carbs. Honestly, I love them both so much. They're
Oh
perfect
god,
together
he's
and
gonna
they're
put.
perfect for this episode.
Bread? Bread is perfect for the cake
he's
episode?
gonna put.
I mean,
Yes, it is
that-
bread, it is cakes. They're the same kind of thing. One just has fashion sense.
Is it too late to quit?
Yes, it is. Thanks, Amy. Hey, Ash.
Hey!
What's your favorite episode of Food Theory and why?
Ooh, okay. My favorite episode is actually kind of a personal one to me. I really like the Oreo episode.
Oh, thank goodness. Finally, a normal cake ingredient.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. You know how our episodes are designed to teach people stuff?
Yeah?
Well, Santi's learning a lot today. Tell me about Oreos.
Alright then. Well, one, I was just really proud of the work I did in putting that whole shoot together. But also, man, did it serve some absolutely incredible memes.
Like, oh, look at that thick layer of cream in there. I want that thickness inside my body.
He knew what he did.
Nope.
He knew
Don't say
it.
that.
He knew what he did.
What he did.
I'll give it to you.
He knew he messed up.
Man, did it serve some absolutely incredible memes.
Like, oh, look at that thick layer of cream in there. I want that thickness inside my body.
He knew he messed up.
Nope. Don't say
He
that.
knew he messed up.
I should not have said that. It's hot. I'll give it that. Oh yeah, you can see it melting. My poor fingies. It's hot on my fingies.
Set it on a plate.
Set it on the plate, they say. Don't burn your fingers, they say. Just blew it off, Jason. I know my saliva is heavy. I've got the heavy saliva in the business.
My good dude, you were so questionable.
Continuing around the office, Lee gave us the Diet Coke taste test because he's also addicted to that sweet, sweet nectar. Josiah gave us Prime Exposed, and Tom added the TikTok favorite, pink sauce.
I hate you, Tom.
Okay, it could have been a lot worse. Just feel lucky no one said the Kentucky Fried Chicken episode or the cabbage soup episode. But what about you, Santi? I'm curious. What's your favorite? You're the one taking over the channel after all.
I mean, I'm not doing myself any favors with this one, but it's actually the fries episode. Never order McDonald's medium fries, I think is the official title. It was one of the first on the channel.
Actually, it was the first.
I just like the science of it all and thought it did a good job of showing what this channel's all about, you know? In general, the fry episodes tend to be really fun. Sprite and fries, another personal favorite.
So you got yourself Mountain Dew, Diet Coke, bread, spruce, Oreos, pink sauce, and French fries. That enough ingredient inspiration for you?
I feel like I should quit while I'm behind.
You think you could find a way to fit it all into a cake?
I have some ideas.
Well, with everyone's favorite episodes compiled, it's time for me and Steph to head to the kitchen one final time. At least one final time on camera for content. It's not like I'm never gonna eat again. We were there to see how Santi might try to fit all of this into something even slightly resembling a cake. And as it so often does, things immediately got off the rails.
You define for Steph and I, who are not in the bro community.
We're not bro dudes,
Yeah.
as it were.
So-
and so, can you explain the dap?
Yeah, if I were to get dapped up, what would I do?
For context, Santi had called Justin to get dapped up, and we were intellectually curious about what this mating technique was. Like researchers observing gorillas out in the wild.
It's in the hand.
Is that
You
racist?
look like you're doing a little Edelweiss.
Yes, if you're a bro, you're too cool for a handshake, right? Handshake, you go in firm, up, down, release. That's how you do it.
That is the hope, yeah.
Yes, there.
Maybe a couple,
Boom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dap it.
God.
Dap it.
I get very intimidated by hand-to-hand interactions that are not that. I don't read people all that well, and so I can't just like flow with it.
You have to remember, cool peaks in high school, right? So you have to think about it like you're the kid in the back of
I
the
hope
class.
not.
You're not trying hard. You don't want to like go in with a lot of emphasis or anything. You just want to go just cup it.
Yeah.
You want to get the clap, and you
Are we
could
do- are
do
we-
that.
are we doing the bro?
But you could just do that, and like you just have to be relaxed with it. Like you wanna get a good clap.
Okay.
Nope. See?
Nope.
You're gonna go from here, and we're gonna clap like that.
Okay.
And then just that. That's it.
Okay.
All right, ready? So just relax. There you go. Wow. Okay. Well, you exploded it, but that was a good clap.
I really try to avoid physical contact with young children entirely.
I do too.
That's not really what I'm going in for,
But if
Santi.
you're driving around and a kid just kicks a sweet gnarly tray, you're like, hey, dap him up.
I honestly can't tell if he's being ironic or not. Is this a bit? I don't get it. Regardless, we were all set with the ingredients. It was time to get cooking. But not before one final sick burn from Steph.
We're gonna take all of that and mash it into a monstrosity that we will call a cake.
You've called a lot of things cake in the past.
Right? And
Come
you called
around.
even more things calzone, and none of them were right.
You know what? You're lucky I didn't put ricotta in this cake. I was this close to doing it.
It would have made it closer to a calzone than anything you've made before.
Oh, she got you there.
Yeah, actually.
That was a good burn. Yeah, Steph, hit me up with that dap, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Hit me up with that girl. You got to practice the handshake.
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
See, now this episode's never gonna see the light of day.
So how did Santi expect to work
It
all
still
of these
did.
insane ingredients into one tasty, or if not tasty, at least edible
It still
bite?
did.
Well, Mountain Dew and Diet Coke were set to be the sponge layers. Santi insisted on another round of trying to make frosting out of Prime, and then there were the croutons.
Amy's favorite episode was the bread gloves. So we're gonna take the croutons and we're gonna pulverize them into a little bit of a dust.
Man, nothing says delicious cake quite like salad croutons.
It's actually really interesting because you have the airiness of the cake. You know what? You'll see. You will see. You'll all see.
I love it when a cake is described as interesting.
From the guy who also says that he doesn't like cake.
All right, Dapper,
Wait,
what do we
what?
got going on?
I'm gonna have you both pour in the respective
Wait,
fluids,
what?
and we're gonna pour them into the cake molds.
It's pillowy and cloud-like, actually. It's very fluffy, got lots of air in there.
It's so fluffy.
So the science behind this is actually really cool. Instead of baking soda and baking powder, our leavening agents are the sodas. In using the sodas, the carbon dioxide that's released creates those similar air bubbles and causes the cake to rise. Plus, we get to incorporate the flavors of the Mountain Dew and the Diet Coke. It's honestly all super cool.
With the sponges in the oven, Santi encouraged us to get some of our aggression out on the croutons.
Oh my god!
What can I say? Between FNAF lore and Hot Wings, I guess I have some pent-up rage from 13
Oh,
years on YouTube.
yeah.
I meant like take the bag and smash it. Oh, that was manly. I like that.
Yeah,
you were like, I don't care.
bro.
Yeah, there you go.
Dip, bro. Yeah.
What is this last part?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're like, wow, you are wildly efficient.
I am very pro therapy. I am also very pro punching
damn, dude.
really hard.
I didn't know you were that
All
mad.
mashed and the Fredbear trauma all processed was on to the prime
I don't think it's old.
Strawberry ice cream.
I was gonna say it does look like strawberry ice cream.
Oh, very much so.
How's it taste? Very thick.
So sweet.
Ooh, very sweet. Ooh, very sweet on the front end. Very sour on the back end.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
This is
ride.
going to go very well with something else.
Huh. Interesting. I am so optimistic about how this is gonna go.
Let's go! See! Anyway, that was my own private moment.
At this point, Steph and I were dismissed from the kitchen so Santi could surprise us with the final reveal. A few hours later, it was time.
How would you like this to be? Is there a drum roll? Should I lift?
I'll lift it for you. I'll lift it for you.
Was this like a small laundry basket? Also?
Where did this thing come from? No cloche, no nothing.
It's for my undergarments, but
you know, hold up.
It's his boxer basket.
Here.
Literally on our cake.
Hold up. I'm gonna save you on this one. Okay.
Yes.
This is the last time I can do this for you.
Okay.
Too. He chose this in commemoration of us cooking in the dryer episode.
Santi, that was brilliant.
Wow. Santi.
Way
Yes.
to go.
I'm
Dap
so
up
glad
for
you
that
worked that
one.
in
there we go.
There's no dap up here.
Oh, dap.
We
Oh,
forgot
God,
in the
no.
course of
Dap
what
it
is
up.
definitely the same day how to dap up.
Yeah. Here. Dap it, bro.
Why do you hit my wrist? Like, you miss my hand every time.
That's how you dap.
That was better. We couldn't get a smoke machine, so sorry for the lack of presentation there. But, so.
That's awesome, actually. This is really pretty.
Okay, so what happened here? What had happened was.
It's French fries.
Yes.
It's fries.
If you look at it from above, which we have that shot, it is the food theory ring.
That's the food theory. That's
Yes,
the quadrant.
that's
That's the quadrant.
I
So,
get it.
so that was
I
supposed
thought
to
it
be
was
that.
a random yellow blob.
I thought so too.
I thought it was like someone peed on the cake.
I thought so too.
Well, there goes my art.
I'm like, we've done a lot of weird episodes, Santi, but we haven't done like, can I drink my own urine? That's more of a Good Mythical Morning style episode.
Well, I mean, you were
You can't.
we were talking about tears, and I was thinking bodily fluids. No, this
Easy to confuse what comes out of your eyes with what comes out of other parts of the
both
body.
salty, I guess. I don't know. So
The yellow pea stain notwithstanding, we were a far cry from prim cake. Even down to these cute little crinkle cut cake fries on top. Such a cool detail. So with everything ready, it was finally time for my last chance to stab something on the show.
Ready? Can I stab the cake? Yeah! Oh, that was satisfying. That was good. Ooh, sliced right down the middle of that
down in
Oreo.
the middle of an Oreo.
Right
Damn.
down stuff.
So what we should see here
Damn.
is a
Is
nice.
that you that I just heard swallow really hard?
Honestly, thought he
It's
would
like
have.
Santi in one moment just went through the entirety of puberty. What we should see here, hopefully.
It's the 5 stages of grief that you're hearing there.
This is my opportunity to do it. Ooh, that looks so good!
If any regular person were to see this, they would probably say, wow, what a delicious pistachio and chocolate cake. But nope, this is food theory. That is Mountain Dew and Diet Coke mixed with prime, spruce, and crouton. Yum yum. You can't deny that it actually looks great, though.
Yeah, it
But
actually does.
obviously the big question here is how it tastes, which is why it was time to get everyone on the team in the kitchen ready to taste for the moment of truth.
It's very chocolatey, Diet Cokey, and rosemary-y. Interesting. All right, everyone.
Happy next chapter of food theory.
Here we go. Food theory. Bite.
After an awkward pause as everyone chewed and processed their feelings, the results were in.
Very thick. Dense. It's punchy.
And they were mixed.
Acceptable. I got some crunch in mine.
Oh yeah.
Was there supposed to be crunch?
Did you not see the Oreos on top?
No, I
Gosh.
ate the inside.
No, I think he found the crouton.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about the
you found the crouton. There's crouton in there.
So the croutons are crushed in the middle for a little bit of texture, a little bit of flavor.
So you're saying the weird uncanniness of the crunch in the cake was calculated?
Yeah.
That's all I needed to
like
know.
bread gloves, okay?
Where was the ranch?
In the pantry where it belongs.
You know what, Santi? I really like it.
I like it.
I think it's pretty great.
So as a cake, definitely an improvement over Prim Cake. I feel it fair to say that Santi got some level of redemption. But again, the assignment was to capture food theory in a single bite. And for that, it absolutely passed with flying colors.
You know what? I think that this cake is a perfect representation of the last 4 years of food theory episodes. It's not the tastiest cake I've ever had. It's not the most precise cake I've ever had. It's a little bit messy. It's a little bit homespun.
There's a lot of sugar involved.
A lot of sugar involved. A lot of weird flavors thrown in there. If I were to pick a cake to perfectly encapsulate everything that we've done here on our time, this is a good one. Thanks, Santi.
I'll take that.
I'm a kid who grew up scared of food. Home cooking for me was Burger King and Pizza Hut. When I started this channel, I could make popcorn on a stove and the occasional pizza. For crying out loud, my healthy food advice was to not order a medium fry at McDonald's. This wasn't ever about being the best chef or giving you the perfect recipe for fine dining. It was about this. It was about curiosity and exploration through food that might lead us down some pretty weird and awkward paths.
You guys between.
What is this?
It always ends up being a good time. And now I look at where we are. I look at where I am. I can make a delicious fried chicken better than KFC, or a perfect replica of my grandfather's delicious Polish soup. I can talk your ear off about the bioavailability of iron in spinach or the healthy fats in macadamia nuts. I've survived the world's most intense hot sauces and months without sugar and caffeine. I've literally fixed
sounds like
2
torture.
cookbooks. I've made a delicious meal out of a Christmas tree and salted popcorn with my own tears, which I could do again today. I've even cooked a juicy, flavorful, medium rare steak in a freaking dryer. And look at this channel, and I'm proud. I'm always proud of the theorist community across all the channels. But with food theory, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of my group. I'm not scared of food anymore. I'm not scared of the kitchen anymore. And I understand more now than ever about the stuff that's actually going into my body. I've grown more here, personally, than any of the other channels. And that's really special.
So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that brings us to a close here on Food Theory. Stephanie?
Yep.
Thank you for being my cooking partner for the last 4 years.
No problem. We didn't burn down the kitchen. That's all that matters.
Right? So thank you for that journey. And Santi, I look forward to what the next 4 years have in store for you. With that, for one final time for me on this channel, remember, say it with me now. But hey, that's just a theory.
Food theory.
Bon appetit.
Food theory.
This is definitely then one. Okay. Now that's food theory out of the way. So now just leave some.
That's food theory out of the way.
I'll do film theory next. So okay, so that's food theory out the way. So now let's go to film theory.
Snowman, because for the first time in
Annoyingly, his most popular video is Frozen, and I hate Frozen for being most boys. But since I kind of have to, for the sake of this video, let's watch a Frozen theory.
Take a break from building your snowman because for the first time in forever, we're doing a theory on Frozen.
To the kids that mock me for this, just know that I actually was able to make it through the video.
Just know that I actually
watched it out of respect for him tiring.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory. You know the Frozen lore you thought you knew? Well, prepare to let it go because today's theory will change everything you thought you knew about the adorable Anna and the incomparable Adele Dazeem. Now, Disney Animation has picked up a fun little habit in the last few years of dropping hidden Easter eggs throughout their movies, making it seem like some, or maybe even all of them, take place in a larger, connected universe. And with Frozen being the biggest animated moneymaker in, well, ever, they've connected Frozen with a whole bunch of
Grumpy Cat.
There are plenty of theories floating around about
actually Grumpy Cat.
No.
Hold on. Was that? Did they collaborate with Grumpy Cat for this?
Larger connected universe, and with Frozen being the biggest animated moneymaker in, well, ever, they've connected.
Grumpy Cat. I don't know if this is official or not. It's probably not because the TV on logo, but I love
Frozen with a whole bunch of other movies. There are plenty of theories floating around about The Little Mermaid and Tarzan, but the connection I'm most interested in today is between Frozen and Tangled. And before you run away thinking that you've heard this one, because of course there's stuff on the internet that connects Tangled and Frozen, hear me out, because this is a brand new finding that I think is going to change the way that you see these two movies. Yes, there are movies about long-lost magical princesses, but the evidence across both points to a huge secret about the relation between Anna, Elsa, and Rapunzel. Specifically, that Anna and Elsa aren't the sisters in these movies. That's right, Anna and Elsa, not sisters. I mean, is that really hard to believe? Look at the family portraits. One of these things is not like the others. Someone looks a whole lot like the milkman. Nope, it's not Anna and Elsa who are the sisters, but rather
You can tell this is the old internet video by the music in the background. Like, really?
Elsa and Rapunzel. And sure, you may be shaking your head now.
I know that.
Backing for this theory is
I remember I would hear this theme all the time.
Own information, and if you stick with me,
One of the few examples I actually saw was just I think of a said, just said, but still.
Since the movie came out. First, Frozen writer and director Jennifer Lee confirmed.
This is how you tell it's an old YouTube video with the sound used.
This is how you tell it's an old YouTube video. What are their names? Agnar and Iduna? Really? Scandinavia, we need to talk about your naming conventions here. In any case, when Agnar and Iduna are lost at sea, they're not going off on any old 3-hour tour. They're sailing for a wedding. It was also confirmed that this isn't just any wedding they're going to. It's Rapunzel's wedding from the end of Tangled. That's huge right there. We already have a solid connection.
Well, things have changed in the war from my sisters told me about Frozen 2. Well, things that apparently the boat was to go explore a pass.
In between the movies in two ways, space and time. Looking at a map, this makes total sense based on where these movies take place. It's been pretty well established that Frozen's location of Arendelle is a hybrid of Arendal and Bergen, Norway. It's so well known, in fact, that the Norway zone of Epcot was completely overrun after the movie came out, and Disney had special Frozen tours set up in Norway to handle all the crazy Elsa fans storming into the country. Probably the only time in Disney's history where people actually were excited to go visit Epcot. Tangled is likely to take place around the corner, just across the North Sea in modern Germany in a fictional city called Corona. This matches where the Rapunzel...
So she was quarantined, held captive, in a place called Quarantine. A place called Corona. For 18 years. I can't be dumb on that thing that I predicted COVID. Corona.
Can't be dumb on that thing
being on like lockdown.
Corona.
And then what happened 4 years ago? Anyway, enough of what I had to say.
The story is originally based since it was one of Grimm's fairy tales. So they're definitely close enough to bump into each other out on their royal yachts, or royal ice barges, I guess. I don't know what you guys do that far north. We also know when they connect in time. Based on the hints Disney has already dropped, we know that these movies
seriously, you can tell that
closer than any other Disney
you can tell that these are all YouTube video with the sounds.
You can tell that married and start their happily ever after. We know at this point that Agnar and Iduna are supposed to be on their way to a wedding, Rapunzel's wedding, but they never make it. When the main story of Frozen starts, we're specifically told that it happens 3 years after the shipwreck, which means exactly 3 years after Tangled's wedding. What's fascinating is that this timing plays out both in the movie and in real life at the same time. In the movie's releases themselves, Tangled's release was November 24th, 2010. Frozen was released almost exactly 3 years later to the day on November 27th, 2013, and picks up exactly 3 years later as soon as you start the movie. The timelines follow each other both in the real world and in their own universe, which is brilliant and also not by accident. We know based on the wikis
that my goodness!
After her movie, she gets married shortly after she shows up back at the castle, despite the fact that Flynn says it took many years.
After years and years of asking.
If you need proof for that, Rapunzel already says that he's lying in that line.
Eugene.
If the wedding were to take any longer than that, Rapunzel's hairs would have grown out.
Like, seriously.
Sadly, a delayed wedding would also mean that Pascal would not be in the wedding party. He'd be dead, based on the average lifespan for veiled chameleons. Sorry, man. It's called the circle of life. So Rapunzel is 18 at the wedding, and when Frozen happens 3 years later, we know Elsa to be 21. In short, some simple math tells us that Elsa and Rapunzel are the same age. And I mean exactly the same age. They were born at the same time. They're twins. Fraternal, not identical, obviously. But now I know you're saying that that's just ridiculous. Yes, the movies are connected, and yes, they overlap and stuff, but it's impossible that the two are twins, right? Wrong. In fact, it's completely possible. To prove it, I'll start with some good old-fashioned biology. Loyal theorists know that some of my favorite theories here and on Game Theory are backed by genetics, and this one is no exception. One of the reasons people usually assume that Elsa has to be the daughter of Agnar and Iduna is that her eyes are blue, just like her mother's. Now, the genetics around eye color are slightly more complicated than we were taught in 8th grade science class, but to roughly simplify to prove the point, both blue eyes and green eyes are recessive, so you must have 2 light eye alleles to get a blue-eyed kid. When one parent has green eyes and the other has blue, like you see in Frozen, the odds of Anna or Elsa individually having blue eyes is 50%. Yay for the recessive Scandinavian gene pool. But it's just as genetically likely for Elsa to belong to the king and queen Entangled, who, for the life of me, I couldn't find their names. Turns out, Agnar and Iduna aren't the only ones with blue and green eyes. King and Queen Tangled are yet another blue and green-eyed royal couple. Weird coincidence, right?
They also
Maybe not.
They also look almost the exact same.
Least, this means that genetically they have the same probability as the Frozen royal couple of ending up with a blue-eyed baby like Elsa. But that's not all. Beyond eyes, we can also tell they're twins based on the fact that they're both left-handed. 22% of twins are left-handed, which is more than double the world average. For Elsa, we see her doing the most important things in the movie as a lefty. Her primary ice-shooting hand is left. She creates Olaf with her left hand, touches her face left, unties her braid left, and even tries to save Anna with a crucial left-handed ice attack. It's a pretty similar story over on the Tangled side. Rapunzel is definitely more ambidextrous than Elsa is, and she does things with both hands. However, she shows a preference for her left hand in crucial activities, especially ones where she has to act on instinct. She paints and brushes her hair both with left and right hands, but in an emergency, she brandishes her frying pan with her left hand or bats lefty with it. She naturally reaches out for a lantern with her left hand, holds candles with her left, holds Pascal left, and throws left. And just so you don't think I'm playing favorites, other characters are distinctly right-handed. In Frozen, Anna always knocks right-handed and reaches out with her right hand. In Tangled, Eugene swings his sword right, points right, and touches Rapunzel's face right-handed.
So that's how he's right-handed.
This has to come from somewhere, right?
Oh my god.
One of the two. Luckily, it happens that Mommy Tangled happens to be likely left-handed. We don't get a lot of camera time with the kings and queens in general, but Rapunzel's mother is shown with a left-handed preference in most scenes she's in. Holding Rapunzel left-handed, gesturing left-handed, and reaching out to touch Rapunzel left-handed after seeing her for the first time in 18 years. There isn't enough evidence on the Frozen side to say whether Ragnar and Iduna are left-handed or not, but we know the genetics line up for Tangled. And finally, we have hair. Honestly, none of these parents are likely to produce children with bright blonde hair like either Rapunzel or Elsa. But, as we learn in Tangled, Rapunzel's blonde hair comes from the magic her mother absorbed from a bright yellow flower. If in fact these two are twins, it would also explain Elsa's unusually vibrant blonde hair, which is surprisingly more plausible than the slim genetic chance Iduna and Agnar have of producing a toe-headed ice princess. So at this point, the location of the movie, timing of the movie, and biology of the movie all support Rapunzel and Elsa being Disney's true first magical princess sisters. But what about the really exciting stuff? What about their actual magic? If these two are indeed twins like I'm saying they are, they should have the same powers, right? I don't know if you've seen these movies lately, but ice blasting, definitely not the same as old healing hair over here. Well, hang on to your anthropomorphic reindeer because there's even more evidence to this theory. First of all, it's really important to reiterate the fact that Elsa and Rapunzel are the only two princesses to ever have magical powers in a Disney movie. Seriously, the only two princesses in the 80-year history.
We was considered the princess?
We was considered the
princess? I know that.
Of Disney films who can use magic. That's pretty incredible if you think about it. And it's not an accident. This doesn't happen just because they're
Snow White talk to animals
who share the same magical universe. It's because they share the same magical mom. Like I said before, Rapunzel absorbs magic from a healing potion her mom drinks before she's born. This is how we explain Rapunzel's magic for the rest of the movie. And for better or worse, it kinda makes sense. The writers clearly took the time to build in a backstory that justifies her magic instead of it having to come out of nowhere. So, where's the backstory in Frozen? Where's our magical history lesson? Is it laziness? Well, no. This is an animation team who bothered to draw in Snow White and Sleeping Beauty into Rapunzel's book collection. If they left something out, it's because there's another explanation. No one in the Frozen royal family has magic. or was ever exposed to it. These are the muggliest Disney characters out there. Even when the royal family takes Elsa to the rock trolls, Agnar can't answer right away whether Elsa was born with magic or cursed with it.
Born with the powers or cursed? Born.
What an oddly specific detail you've included there, Disney. But this is the reason. When Agnar stutters in front of the rock trolls, he's showing a natural reaction. Was she born with these powers? Yes? He doesn't know because he wasn't there when Elsa was born with magic. Ever wonder why Agnar and Iduna never show any surprise about Elsa's magical powers? Like, wouldn't you just find it a little bit startling? Worth a trip to the pediatrician at least. We never see them doing normal things you'd expect parents to do in this situation. They don't try to cure Elsa. They don't even seem to look for answers about where her powers came from. Don't you think that's a little bit strange? Well, it's not if you consider that they already know where her powers come from. Her real mother, the same that gave Rapunzel her powers. But okay, enough beating around the bush, let's actually talk about that magic. One of Frozen's biggest criticisms leveled at it from honest trailers to CinemaSins is that Elsa's power set has always seemed a bit weird.
Meet Elsa, a manic-depressive princess with a confusing set of powers, like creating life.
Think so?
They kind of gloss over that one.
Yeah, she freezes stuff, causes major destruction and blizzards, builds ice castles, all that. But then she also brings things to life, creating sentient creatures like Olaf and Marshmallow. Literally, it's all over the place. At first, it actually seems like Elsa and Rapunzel have opposite powers, with Elsa stopping everything from growing and Rapunzel making everything new and young again. A yin and yang sort of situation. But if you look closer, their powers are actually more similar than you think. Let's go through it. In the ending to both movies, the princesses save someone they love. Frozen, it's Anna, and Entangled, it's Flynn, or Eugene, or whatever his name is. To start both scenes, the true love character saves the princess. Eugene saves Rapunzel from Mother Gothel, and Anna saves Elsa from Prince Hans. In doing so, they both die in the process. Anna by freezing, and Eugene with a stab wound. Anna exhales her last breath, Eugene falls limp. These guys are gone. At this point, each of our power princesses literally hugs the true love for an awkwardly long minute of sobbing, and then suddenly discover a new power they never thought they had. The exact same power. Reviving the dead. Giving things life. Entangled, it's giving Mother Gothel and Eugene life. In Frozen, it's giving Snowman and Anna life. Coincidence? Not a chance. It's the exact same power executed the exact same way. Their powers aren't opposite. In fact, they're twins, just like the princesses themselves. Elsa did inherit the power to revive things, just like Rapunzel. She just also ends up with some nice ice upgrades. In short, everything in these movies, from the setting, the background, the lore, the genetics, the magical powers, even the structure of their own stories, are direct parallels. So now I ask you, look at the evidence, and look at the story one more time through a new lens.
Damn.
Once upon a time in Corona, a kingdom in northern Germany, a sick queen drinks a magical healing potion made from a magical yellow flower right before giving birth. She has twin daughters. The girls are blonde as both are infused with the magic of the flower. One daughter immediately demonstrates magical healing powers when you sing, and the other one doesn't really seem to do all that much. Mother Gothel discovers that baby one will keep her young forever, but she can't just snip some hair, so she has to take the whole baby, which she does by kidnapping her and locking her up in a tower. King and Queen Tangled are heartbroken that baby one is stolen, and they realize they can't risk losing baby two if she's ever discovered to have magical powers. They know Corona isn't safe, and send baby two on a trip across the North Sea to the neighboring kingdom of Arendelle, to live with Agnar and Iduna, far away from Mother Gothel. In Arendelle, the king and queen eventually realize that Elsa does indeed have magical powers too. Unprepared to raise a magical child, they try to hide Elsa's powers, to protect her from being kidnapped like her sister Rapunzel, closing up the castle, limiting the staff, hiding Elsa indoors. It's to keep the word from getting out to Corona that there was another princess born with magic, and to protect their own daughter Anna from accidentally spilling Elsa's secret or becoming the target of a kidnapping herself. They have her memory wiped. The bad rap Agnar and Iduna get is all in the name of helping to keep Elsa safe until her sister Rapunzel reappears, and eventually the two find each other when Rapunzel ends up in Arendelle at the end of Frozen. So is that the true origin story of Anna, Elsa, and Rapunzel? I guess we'll have to see what happens in Frozen 2. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
God damn. I knew the series was gonna be convincing, but I didn't think it would be this convincing.
I knew the series was gonna be convincing, but I didn't think it would be this convincing.
And here's the final film theory episode.
You know, film theory tends to get itself a bad rap. As the middle child of the theorist lineup, it tends to get overlooked or forgotten, so much so that it's become its own meme at this point. And yet, of all the channels, film theory covers, by my estimation, the most important topics. Don't get me wrong, you have plenty of silly episodes mixed in here, like How to Kill Deadpool, Willy Wonka's OSHA violations, me trying to become a host at Jeopardy, you're lost guys by the way. But you also have episodes warning about deepfakes, propaganda, net neutrality, copyright, how fragmented pop culture is eroding our collective sense of identity, resulting in heightened levels of depression and isolation. Those are important and heavy topics to cover because, as we said in one of our recent theories, media is a tool that can enact change and influence public thinking at a global scale. The entertainment we consume, it shapes us and our beliefs, and like any tool, it can transform into a weapon if misused. Which is why today's episode, my final film theory, feels so important.
I have to always use so the original intro.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory, the show that's now...
I cannot be the one that just feels like I sound like Dr. Kendo from Scribblenauts series. Like, anyone here remember Dr. Kendo? He would make custom characters in Scribblenauts. Remember it?
Entering its Zaddy era. Today I wanted to start off with a question. I want you to think about all the media that you consumed during your childhood, all the TV shows and movies that you loved as a kid. And now, with the...
For those that expected me to actually do this, I'm not about to mention like 70 plus TV shows I watched when I was like 5.
Perspective that you've gained as you've gotten older, can you name for me 5 good father figures from children's media?
Okay, let's see. I guess SpongeBob's dad counts, or...
I guess SpongeBob's dad counts, or...
Teddy Fig? I guess Trout's father. I can't really think of anyone else. Damn. I can't really think of anyone else.
Talking about wholesome dads who want the best for their kids, who try really hard to teach them and nurture them and show them love and all the good things that dad should be doing. Legitimately, go down to the comments, type out who comes to mind, because I consume a lot of media, and I had a hard...
Those are I'm struggling to find characters and father figures. Because most of the shows I actually watched was like Special Agent Oso, where pretty sure Jake and Different Pirates, Bubblegum, you see. We never did see any of the parents of Bubblegum, you said. Oh, Octonauts too, but I'm just saying that in some ways most of the shows I watched was mainly animal characters, didn't have many fathers. I'm saying that in some ways most of the shows I watched was mainly animal characters. So much out it shows.
Time making this list. Back when we brought Leon as creative director here on Film Theory, this was actually one of the first conversations he and I had about the state of media. Even more recently, we've asked this question around the office, and people really struggle with it. I mean, it's not impossible to come up with a list. You'll eventually get there, but it's shockingly hard. Our list ended up being Bandit from Bluey, Arthur Weasley from Harry Potter, Uncle Iroh from Avatar.
You said from my childhood, that's how I remember, but Bandit is a good dad.
Last Airbender, Mufasa from Lion King, and Goofy from a Goofy movie. But the fact that it took us a significant amount of time to do is pretty darn telling. Fathers in sitcoms are usually bumbling buffoons, deadbeat dads, or need anger management. And it's not just a lack of good dads here either. Honestly, most of the male characters that you see across media, both young and old, they're not great. Classic cartoon kids are almost universally bratty, cruel, greedy, or inconsiderate.
This is why when I plan to make it my own cartoon, I plan on making things a whole lot
This is why when I plan to make it my own cartoon,
realistic, like
things a whole lot
less like kids are less evil and actual good parent figures. Like what I'm saying is that when I plan on making a cartoon, I plan on making it like actually realistic with good just not like the stereotypes of kids being brats or not with no father.
Why do you do this? You're so stupid!
Even the oldest of old school animated characters that have been sanitized to be as brand safe and neutral today as possible, they started off as horrible jerks.
Abruptly, he becomes an
Bugs Bunny Boo just shoots someone in broad daylight. I mean,
Bugs Bunny Boo just.
You really didn't realize how messed up the old Looney Tunes was. Like, the old Looney Tunes was full of racism, sexism, anything offensive you can name was most likely in the original Looney Tunes before they came family friendly.
Was most likely in the original Looney Tunes,
especially Lola.
Family friendly.
Controllable monster.
They're angry, they're violent, they're not good people. So why do I bring it up in my final episode? Well, as a dad, I've started to pay a lot more attention to these sorts of things in the media that I watch because I want to know if it's something that I can actually share with Ollie. And surprisingly, there isn't a lot that I'm super happy with sharing. And it all comes down to a lack of shows with characters that I actually want Ollie to grow up to be like. Now, I can't stress enough that we live in the most open time ever for children's entertainment. Newer shows like The Owl House, Amphibia, and Kippo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts are given voices to historically underrepresented groups as both creators and characters. There is something in there for everyone. That's awesome. But the pickings for boy characters that I want my son to try to be like, of male characters that I want him to look up to, they are mighty slim, my friends. That's kind of a problem. So today, I wanted to look at why. Why are there so few of these truly great role models for boys? Why, in this era where we have more choice in what we can watch than ever before, are
I'll probably give an explanation. They probably think that I'll get myself canceled if I do it.
There's so few choices that have good male role models for my son to look up to. Well, after diving into the history and economics of this sort of media, it all comes down, as it so often does, to money. Surprise, surprise. Don't touch that dial, my friends. It's time to crack this case wide open. So to start things out, it should be noted that gender identity for young children doesn't really become a factor for several years into their life. According to research, most kids don't start to identify with one gender or another until the age of 3. And it's important that they're encouraged to explore that at their own pace. The last thing we want to do is to sort kids who are still discovering themselves into boxes. And likewise, children can of course have role models who are not the same sex or gender that they are. It is awesome for boys to have role models who are women, vice versa, and everyone beyond and in between the binary. I'm just talking about it today because I want to make sure that there are good examples set across.
I get that one on the left is trans. I think the one on the right is pan, but what's the one in the middle? And for some reason I got these two wrong with somehow trans one. Please do not hate me in the comment section. I don't really have many of the facts in my mind besides the trans one. Why? Most of my friends are trans. Surprisingly. I mean, no offense, no offense.
Most of my friends are trans. Surprisingly.
That's gonna be cancelled. But I'm not homophobic or transphobic, any kind of phobic. Unless you're a zoophile, then I do not accept you. Or a map. If you're one of those two, I don't accept you. Because zoophiles, I don't think any are interested in animals, and maps interested in children. And I do not support either of those because obvious reasons. It's wrong. But trans, pan, anything else, I accept. Like, I have a limit to accepting things. Like if it's something that is normal and makes them happy, I accept it. But if it's something that causes harm to another, like a zoophile would, then I don't accept it because, well, it's just not right. Anyways, enough of me speaking on about stuff that's probably clear enough already. Let's just continue.
Board for everyone, and right now the male category pretty severely lacking.
Yeah.
And me saying that might come as a bit of a surprise, right? Like there are a ton of male characters out there in media. They have been the bedrock, the focus of entertainment forever. So how am I possibly standing here saying we need more male role models? Well, this is one of those episodes where just looking at the numbers isn't going to be telling you the whole story. A 2008 study from Television conducted across 24 countries found that there were twice as many male characters than female characters in children's TV. A decade later, a similar study from the Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media found that roughly half of all episodes of children's entertainment had female leads. That is good news. Everything's balanced as all things should be. So what's the problem? Well, again, let me be clear. This isn't a case of where are the male characters? There are plenty of them out there. We are tripping over them. Instead, this is a conversation about the quality of those characters. What's going on with the types of male characters that we keep seeing? Have you ever stopped and considered how many of them actually embody the traits that you would want a kid to emulate? At a quick glance, the modern era, it's seen a wide spectrum of overwhelmingly positive, affirming female and female-coded characters. You have everything from Doc McStuffins to the miraculous Ladybug, Hello Kitty, Bluey, Luz from the Owl House, most of the gems from Steven Universe, Carmen Sandiego, who's apparently a hero now. Barbie just had herself an empowering live-action adaptation, and she's also sort of a YouTube vlogger dishing out shockingly solid mental health advice.
Maybe I'm just being really unfair on myself.
What?
You know, I don't owe
How much have I missed? Okay, I don't follow Barbie. Not even I knew this. I mean, I get most of the major news about Barbie. I didn't hear this, like the whole movie thing. You know, the Barbenheimer thing. Oof, that was hectic.
Just have to be upbeat and positive.
Even parodies of the overconfident, self-reliant neo-heroine like Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time ultimately get to be effective political leaders, excel at STEM fields, kick butt on the battlefield, and get the girl in the end. The fact that these characters exist, that is awesome. I don't want to take anything away from that. And if this is how we're overcorrecting for decades of women being trapped as damsels in distress or trophies, I'm all about that.
Tell me
but
about
then
it.
you look over at the boys and things get a bit more complicated. Sure, there are some truly great and kind characters that I do want my son to look up to. For as much fun as I've had here on the channel saying that he's actually a ruthless businessman, Ryder from the Paw Patrol, fantastic role model. He's smart, he's resourceful, he's caring, he's a leader.
You really need to watch those videos. You really need to watch those videos, like seriously.
You really need to watch those videos.
He gives damn good points about Paw Patrol. Even though I don't watch the show anymore, it really made me think about it. About how he's actually evil. Seriously. Anyways, enough about my rambling. You need to watch the last video of Game 3. I mean, Film 3. I'm sorry that I keep doing this, but I'll just be commenting about things. I need to get my side on work, so like, no.
He dug that series, probably in part because he saw Ryder and wanted to connect with him. Same thing with Dipper from Gravity Falls. Also a win for being smart, curious, brave, and a loving brother. Also, there's a handful of solid early educational programming with male protagonists like Arthur, Thomas the Tank Engine, Daniel Tiger, though it's worth calling out how few of them are actually human. But let's talk for
I should never realized that.
Been about the characters that you typically see come up in a conversation like this, right? Well, the problem here is that they tend to have a huge asterisk attached to their names. Captain America,
that's what
Superman,
that's called.
Batman, Spider-Man, the Ninja Turtles, they're all great, but the stories also involve a lot of war, crime, death, fighting in general. They tend to solve most of their problems through punching and physical violence. Aang, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, they're selfless heroes who do what they think's right no matter what the cost, but they're also sitting smack dab in franchises built on needing to be violent, fighting, often killing soldiers, stormtroopers, dark wizards, not generally a drawback that you're facing from traditionally feminine skewing characters like Sophia the First or Elena of Avalor. And if they're not violent or surrounded by violence, well, very often they're just not good. Johnny Bravo's a big old womanizer. Timmy Turner's a whiny, spoiled narcissist. Jimmy Neutron's arrogant, destructive, mean to girls, and regularly uses his intelligence as an excuse for being a jerk to his friends.
You don't need to describe my stepdad.
Smart and resourceful and funny, or outright disobeying their parents each and every
You didn't need to describe my stepdad like that. With my mom's
every day of summer. Actually, the reason Ali wanted to stop watching the show, he was afraid of them getting in trouble for constantly breaking the rules episode after episode. I think you get the idea. Look at media through this sort of lens and suddenly you see examples everywhere you go. Just to get some hard numbers in here, that same Gina Davis study that I mentioned earlier noted that male characters, they're more likely to be violent compared to female characters, and also almost twice as likely to be depicted as a criminal. Remember, we're not talking about fun characters to watch, or characters that you like. I think most of the examples I listed above fall into at least one of those categories. No, we're talking about characters that are admirable role models for young boys. Characters whose activity we want them to imitate or look up to as they develop during childhood. I also want to reaffirm, I personally like all of these shows and movies. There is no judgment here if you're a fan of any of these sorts of things. But they're just not shows that I can show Ollie until he's much, much older because of the implicit lessons that they contain. Boys...
Is it bad that I used to watch Very Odd Parents when I was like 5? No?
Is it bad that I used to watch Very Odd Parents when I was like 5?
Are violent. You solve your problems with punching. If you break rules and treat people badly, don't worry, there are no real consequences. You're the main character of your own show, and everything just works out well for you. So with all of that established, I think we can start to discuss why things have ended up this way. Because this has deep roots in the history of pop culture. The long and short of it, when you start to unpack the old media that inspired our modern media, you find a lot of old-fashioned assumptions that end up persisting in ways that you wouldn't expect. Though there have always been trickster boy characters dating back centuries and cultures all across the world, the Western pop culture version of this archetype really took shape in the early 1900s with the creation of Peter Pan by novelist J.M. Barrie, though you probably know him best from the 1953 Disney cartoon. I cannot overstate how influential this one story was. Everyone and everything from Steven Spielberg to The Legend of Zelda was influenced by Peter Pan.
Yeah,
that matters. By this point, I'm sure you know the story. Peter Pan's a boy who doesn't want to grow up. He has magical powers and finds other children who also don't want to to grow up, whisking them away to Neverland so they can be kids together forever. In some darker interpretations, he just straight up abducts the kids. And even in the Disney version, from the first time we see his face, it's clear that this is not a 100% trustworthy good guy. The whole point of Peter Pan's character, though, is that he's fun, but he's also immature. He's emotionally stunted. He's kind of a jerk. If you aren't also a perpetual child, you eventually get tired of him, especially if you're a girl. The Lost Boys are called the Lost Boys because there weren't any lost girls originally. Peter's explanation is that girls are just far too clever to become lost like the rest of them. And when he brings Windy Darling to Neverland, it throws things into complete disarray because her relative maturity makes the other Lost Boys want to grow up. The point is, what Peter Pan explored was the very rigid classifications of gender in a child's upbringing during the era. The idea that
movie sells things have gotten
girls
better now.
emotionally mature faster than boys. Something that has a fair amount of scientific truth to it. Literally, most girls optimize connections in their brains at an earlier age than boys, leading them to cognitively mature more quickly. The consensus for a long time has been that boys are born wild and unruly, while girls just grow up faster. And it's therefore their job to civilize
It's not my
boys,
fault
to
I'm
get
like
them
this.
to want to settle down and act like actual human beings. And that mentality is all over old Disney films. The Seven Dwarfs live like a bunch of frat boys until Snow White shows up to show them how to use a broom and a dustpan. Beauty and the Beast is all about a big jerk who literally doesn't know how to act human until a woman shows up and tells him. And yeah, that's basically what happens in Peter Pan 2. The Lost Boys are presented with the options of staying in Neverland.
How messed up was old Disney? Okay, at this point, I'm gonna be making a separate video on how messed up old cartoons was. I mean, all.
I'm gonna be
Like,
making
really.
a separate video on how messed up old cartoons
Because this
was.
seems a lot more messed up than I can remember.
Really?
Where they can run around like madmen and play pirates and break stuff and make a mess. Or you can go home, get a job, and find a Windy Darling of your own. In these older stories, the girl was the reward for the men who grew up. That sort of thinking, boys will be boys and the girl's the trophy that you earn for settling down, it's not great. It's how we got a lot of the problematic media from years gone by. And more importantly, the justified pushback against that sort of thinking is what's led to a lot of the great girl-targeted media over the past decade. Movies and series written specifically to show that girls aren't just there to be prizes for the boys, or there for the sole purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I remember people thought Bluey was a boy when the show first came out.
I remember people thought Bluey
But
was
of course,
a
that's
boy.
obvious that she's a girl now.
It's like getting their male counterparts to mature. They're their own fully realized people with beliefs, virtues, flaws, strengths and weaknesses, thoughts and feelings. But now I have to ask, why hasn't something similar happened with boys in the media? Why are so many of these male characters just stuck in the older ways of...
I don't really think Charlie Brown is that bad. I mean, Charlie Brown's just really just a normal kid.
That bad. I mean, Charlie Brown's just...
Charlie Brown's just literally the most realistic one there because he's literally just a kid from a comic strip. That's the whole thing, that he was just a kid with bad luck.
Thinking and writing male characters while girls have got to grow up. They're still stuck as Peter Pans, emotionally stunted and immature. Why? Well, there's something that all these years of hosting the channels have taught me, is that the real reason so many decisions are made in Hollywood comes down to one thing and one thing only, the money. And in children's media, there's no bigger moneymaker than toys. See, in...
Oh, God.
Okay, so... Yeah, these all look like they'd be... I don't think anything here is actually... The only thing I just think is worth something is
Hollywood,
probably
there's
the...
a concept known as
David Twoy.
toyetic media. This is any movie, cartoon, TV show, comic book, or whatever created for the purpose of advertising
Yes,
merchandise.
Joe started as a
Doesn't
comic
have to
book.
be the only purpose of the media, but a lot of decisions made in Hollywood are done so that the properties become more toyetic. A good example of this, during the pre-production of the 1990s film Batman and Robin, toy manufacturers sat in on creative meetings, and many parts of the movie were changed to be easier to make toys out of. And despite the film itself being a financial disappointment, the merchandise made enough money that Warner Brothers continued the Batman franchise with a reboot. However, the first huge property that really took advantage of this idea of toyetic media was Star Wars. Practically everything within the Star Wars franchise was designed in a way to let them very easily transfer to toys.
I actually do have a few Star Wars toys, but they're mainly to say the Lego sets or the Angry Birds Star Wars plushies as seen in a previous video of mine. I am trying to get myself on some other Star Wars items like Star Wars samples, which I'll talk more about on a later video, but now I'll just stop trying to interrupt, but I can't really sign all of it.
And George Lucas was a savvy enough businessman to negotiate that he would keep the merchandising rights in lieu of a higher upfront paycheck. This is how Lucas made his billions. Not through the movies, through the toys. The movies were just a nice bonus on top. They were great films that happened to act as commercials for the action figures and plastic lightsabers. And other companies definitely took note of this. This led to a slew of toyetic IP being created for the sole purpose of
the
selling
whole reason Star was
and
made.
a lot of the
Just
most
for the
popular
toys.
franchises from the 80s and 90s fall into this exact category. I'm talking
Just for the
Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, He-Man, She-Ra, Pokemon, Digimon, even certified classics like Cowboy Bebop. All of them are made specifically to sell toys, games, trading cards,
Oh my actual god. Never before would I think my mind would get blown this much, even by MatPat.
Name it, and not because they were the best stories to tell our...
Wait, is Digimon a ripoff, or is it an official counterfeit?
Wait, is Digimon a ripoff?
I'm also gonna get hated on the Digimon community for saying this.
But then why are we still selling crummy characters to little boys and not to
Still,
girls?
Charlie Brown's not that
If you look at
bad.
the way boys and girls relate to their toys, you start to see...
Who said that? Who said Mount Pony's just for girls?
One of the big reasons why boy characters are held to such low standards. Let me show you an example from one of the world's biggest toy brands, Lego. In 2011, the Lego company completed an exhaustive study into children's play psychology that spanned multiple years and continents. They wanted to look at child development and feedback from parents to figure out the difference between boy toys and girl toys, if there was any difference at all. What did boys and girls like to play with and why? And the results were fascinating. Obviously, this comes with big asterisks that every child's gonna be different, but broadly speaking, Lego found that boys tended to play with their toys and figurines in the third person, deciding what actions the characters they were playing with would take more as a director of sorts. They were telling the knights or astronauts or superheroes what to do during play rather than being the characters themselves or putting themselves into the character's shoes. For Lego, that meant that the boys...
I mean, the plush tubers that do that where they're...
I mean, the plush
tend to be the characters,
where
but...
they're...
As much as I'd watch you want to be a plush tuber, I would actually get seriously points for this because a 13-year-old playing with toys like seriously, who does that? Yeah, I'd point. Yeah, if someone said I'd say, well, Logan 38 SML, 10 million subs. You get the point. I'll just say some random plush tuber who's probably older than me and doing successful, but not everyone can be successful by doing the same thing. Sometimes you just gotta be yourself and do something you like. Just because one person got successful doing it doesn't mean you'll get successful from doing it. Sometimes it's just best to just do your own thing, not just imitate someone.
Sometimes it's best to
tended to gravitate towards the IP-based playsets, Star Wars, Spider-Man, situations that were really exciting to direct the action for, but where you didn't really have to pretend to be those characters to make it exciting. On the other hand, girls tended to play in the first person, role-playing that they themselves were the characters doing these actions. They projected their own identities onto the toys, rather than directing them to do things. The result of all this? Lego, who had always prided itself on the idea that Lego bricks were for everyone, that they weren't gendered, they developed the Lego Friends line, focused more on pastel.
You kidding me?
You kidding me?
The whole reason this exists. Oh my god.
The whole reason this exists.
I don't want to think Lego Friends shouldn't exist.
Sets that seem more like doll houses than Death Stars, and redesigned minifigurines to look more human. Lego Friends is now considered to be one of the most successful product launches in Lego's history, doubling Lego's expectations, tripling their sales with girls in the US and European markets, and rocketing Lego to become the biggest toy maker on the planet. Clearly, it met a need in the market, and the data from their study lines up with tons of other deep dive research about toys and playstyles for children. The big TLDR here is that boys and girls relate to characters differently. So when you're creating a TV show trying to sell them a bunch of toys, those shows are going to look different depending on who you're targeting. For girls, you have to create characters that the girls want to be, so when you sell them toys, they want to embody those characters. For boys, the job's actually kind of different. All you gotta do is create exciting worlds and characters for them to direct. As long as they feel like cool, exciting characters, job done. They don't necessarily have to be someone you look up to, and therefore, you get
So is that why most male people? So is that why most
they're
like
just
as a
loud
male?
to grab your attention. I bring all this up, Lego and toyetic media, because I can't help but draw a connection between the ways these studies observe children playing with toys and the media that's explicitly being created for them. Because girls typically role play in the first person during childhood, there's a greater focus on seeing yourself in these characters from that female targeted media. They're designed from the ground up to be more appropriate role models because girls would directly identify with those protagonists. And on the other hand, boys are just assumed to simply watch male targeted shows full of cool characters doing awesome things. They're watching the story in the third person and incorporating what they see into the direction that they give their toys later later on. In the eyes of the corporations making the media and ultimately making the toys, what's most important here is to make the male characters cool, funny, loud, and exciting, which far too often just translates into violent, stupid, and cruel. And that, I think, is a significant part of why these male characters just don't stack up, especially in relation to their female counterparts. Media, it's powerful. We see it influence action in the real world, and with younger girls now being shown that the world is open to them and that people should be taking them seriously by all these female protagonists, the ball starts rolling to make that a reality. And now, I want us to be able to do the same for these male characters. If we want our boys to grow up knowing that they should be kind, fair, smart and respectful, thoughtful and strong in all the right ways, we need to set them up for success by putting good examples of these traits in front of them in the shows that they're watching. We can still have fun with them. They can still be heroic and funny, but they can do all that without being mean or dumb or violent or destructive.
SpongeBob used to actually be smart, but they dumbed him down just so they can market him towards younger kids. Like after the 5th season, SpongeBob really went downhill. Like seriously.
After the 5th season,
I would rather get my face being disfigured like Mr. Light than having to watch one of the new SpongeBob episodes.
Disfigured like Mr. Light.
I don't watch the entire 1st season of
SpongeBob. It won't be easy, but we've shown over the last decade that we can make positive change in the media that's being produced. And you know what? It is time that we finally let our boys grow up. That way my son, our sons, can have characters worth looking up to. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
He didn't say for the final time. Oh. That means one channel left. After all this, there's only one channel left to watch. The one that started everything.
There's only one channel left to
Game
watch.
Theory.
The one that started everything.
And now?
Game Theory.
Oh, wait, I can't snap. Okay, I want to agree, MatPat's first video wasn't even a theory. It's this.
Okay, I want to agree, MatPat's first video wasn't even a theory. It's this.
Everything is perfect before I go shopping. I'll do the shopping. I know.
Hey, it's Matt.
All the shopping now. I want to make sure everyone knows about my baby.
Hey, it's Matt.
This is Jane. We must make this a binding agreement.
What
In the
the?
name of Jesus, the thing was done. Now there's no going back for
What the?
anyone. It's too late now for feeling torn. There's a pact been sealed.
What on earth?
What did we have to do
What
now for?
on earth?
This is Jane. No one must ever know about this.
Could someone in this comments this section please explain what the heck is going on here?
Could someone in this comments this section please explain what the heck is going on here?
How quickly those who've made a pact can come to overlook the fact, or wish the reckoning be delayed.
What on?
Debt is a debt. It must
on
paid.
Alonic. He still has MatPat hasn't changed since his first video. Still being delirious and screaming. Okay, so his most popular video, well, his most popular theory is the FNAF theory.
So his most popular
This is his
video-
most popular video, the
his
game
most
map.
popular
His
theory
first
is the
episode,
FNAF
so it's good to
theory.
watch.
This is his most popular video, the game map. His
Now
first episode, so
called
it's good to
YouTube Premium, I think.
watch. Now called YouTube Premium, I think.
And this is Game Lab.
For the last 5 years, I've made a name for myself overanalyzing video games using real-world science and math. But now I'm taking it to the next level by throwing some of the world's most popular gamers into the scenarios we play through every day.
Finance of candies?
Up to reality and are gamers as good in real life as they are on
I need to make a full. Okay, I think I might make. I think I might continue watching this series just so I can see more of this cool stuff.
I think I might continue watching this series just to get more of this cool stuff.
We're here at the Tempest Free Running Academy in Chatsworth, California to learn a little bit more about parkour so we can explore the world of Mirror's Edge. See that guy behind me? Yeah, that's not gonna be me by the end of the day. Spoiler alert, I know that's what you were expecting, but
Yeah.
I make YouTube videos for a living, so what do you expect?
Mirror's Edge was a breath of fresh air for the gaming industry when it was first released by EA in 2008. At that time, the gaming scene was dominated by gritty war games that put you in the perspective of super soldiers gunning down the enemy. But Mirror's Edge,
well, it could be in my case, but Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
emphasis not on shooting the enemy, but avoiding.
Anyone remember this game? Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare?
Free running. In the game, you play as Faith Connors,
remember
a
this game?
parkour expert
Plants vs.
working
Zombies Garden
against an
Warfare?
oppressive government, leaping from rooftop to rooftop, delivering information to the resistance like the most intense UPS carrier ever. And with a sequel just released, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I figured
Took them 8 years.
for us gamers to learn the parkour moves.
Wait, EA means Electronic Arts?
Quite
Took them 8
literally, a
years.
leap of faith.
Wait, EA means Electronic Arts?
Mirror's Edge, but I can't be expected to fail at parkour all on my own.
Took me this long to figure out just what that means. I had no idea EA meant Electronic Arts.
Took me this
And
long
I'm
to
14.
I had no idea EA meant Electronic Arts.
Smosh.
And I'm 14.
A lot of people from Smosh. Never mind.
A lot of people from Smosh.
I feel like Amy would be good at this for some reason because she's, well, either her or Andrew, because because they've taken about for like 5 years, I think, and a lot of flexible things. So I don't know. Might sound creepy saying this, but apparently they told me, that they took probably for like 5 years and wanted fighting classes. So yeah.
No shame, lots of wind has been broken. Ready to do some hardcore parkour? Parkour! Parkour! Ready? Parkour. 1, 2, 3, parkour! 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 Great. 1, 2, 3. Just like the graceful gazelle, we go off. Guys. Alright, not too shabby. By the end of the day, we'll be able to do that, right? God, no. Set your expectations low, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, I'd like to introduce you to Victor, co-founder of Tempest Free Running Academy. Nice to meet you guys. I like the bow there. That's great.
I'm the only one that didn't bow, and I should have bowed. It was a late bow.
In the world of parkour, what bow?
He's the master of parkour.
Sensei parkour. So, how long have you been doing this for? About 10 years, I think, right?
10 years, yeah.
Awesome. Well, what do you have in store for us today?
Vaulting, running, jumping, climbing, bruises, you know.
A lot of bruises.
Shin splints.
Oh, great.
Awesome. Injuries.
For that.
Way to warm it up.
Training our whole lives for this.
Right? So, you want to show us around?
Yeah, come this way, guys. We'll get started.
Cool. Yeah, here we go. This is me. This is my life today.
All right, guys. As you can see, we're on this nice cushion spring floor. Hope you guys like it. Obviously for your safety.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Flint's definitely likes it.
Oh, baby deer.
Great. One of the questions I got for you is, in Mirror's Edge, right? There's a lot of landing going on. You're jumping off of high buildings. You're doing a lot of rolls and dive rolls, things like that. Is that true to life, or how's that work?
Very true. It's all about good technique. With Faith jumping off of a 20-foot building onto the concrete when she lands, she's obviously absorbing one with her legs. Her chest is up. She's taking the impact on her legs.
Oh.
She's absorbing through her whole body by then dispersing it with a roll at the very end, which is actually a beacon. And that's actually one of the first moves I kind of wanted to show you guys.
I think Flint's our young deer here.
Okay, all you're gonna do is squat down, make a triangle. So you're gonna put your triangle down in front of your left foot. Left foot, left foot, left foot. Put your chin on the outside of your shoulder. So with my forehead leading, I'm gonna lead with my
Yeah, and break your neck.
shoulder. Yes.
Yeah, and break your neck.
Yes.
Who did the Huey Duck or whatever fighting pose from Family Issues?
Who did the Huey Duck or whatever fighting pose?
I'm trying to do this, but I do not have enough room in my bedroom for this. Most of the room here is getting taken up by my necessities, myself, and my bed.
Most of the room is getting taken up by my necessities, myself, and my bed.
Put your left foot on the line as well, making sort of a tripod. Twister and balance. Just balance on your arm, please. You lift your back foot in the air, but carrying your weight on your arm though. It's between your foot, just like this. Squat. Easy enough, right? See this? Yes.
This man really unlocked a double jump. I should have been watching this when I was younger. So this dumb thing I'm for this. For some reason, if someone wants to see me try doing this, I'd end up breaking my ankles if I even tried it.
For some reason, if someone wants to see me try doing this, I'd end up breaking my ankles if I even tried it.
Let's see if Matt Pack can do it. You know, I've actually only ever seen like, please have two episodes of Game Theory. One of them being about the Ghost Girl and Pokemon Pearl, and you know, and I think the other one was
Ghost Girl, Pokemon Pearl,
and the Courage Chicago Dog video. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the FNAF videos. The only other time I've actually seen them with some FNAF video was the Random Encounters music video.
The only time I've just seen them with some FNAF video was the Random Encounters music video.
You know, a lot of the people from Random Encounters have gone on to do big things. I mean, the voice actor for Freddy voices in Super Smash Bros.
The voice actor for Freddy voices in Super Smash Bros.
What was the quality computer next to life? Yeah, I would not be able to do this. I'd either end up breaking the thing, or I'd probably pass away from a heart attack.
I would not be able to do this.
I can get bad panic attacks.
Or I'd probably pass away from a heart attack because I can get bad panic attacks.
What?
That's gonna put to the test literally every single skill that we've learned today.
You're trying to kill us!
It's like extreme hardcore parkour. Well, welcome to the show!
Lord have mercy.
So, how do we look?
Lord have mercy.
Don't we look like futuristic, like, hardcore experts? I feel like
Costumes give us the power of parkour.
yeah, you're doing parkour in a movie or a video game.
I mean, the only cartoons, the TV show, you guys.
I believe you have a challenge set up for us today.
Yeah, what show?
I mean, the only cartoon is the TV show.
Okay, so they use that. The build? Okay, it's not. Okay, that was them using the building for a second.
Okay, so they use that. The building?
Oh, it is using the building.
Okay, that was them using the building for a second. Oh, it is using the building.
Oh no, anyone else like Pig Patch and the Smiling Critters? Oh hell no! What if he falls?
What if he falls?
I really hope they had some form of protection in case the person falled, because that'd be a lawsuit.
I really hope they had some form of protection in case the person falled. That'd be a
Walt
lawsuit.
Disney Concert Hall.
Walt Disney Concert Hall.
– 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Why did you have to wear strippy shoes?
Why did you have to wear strippy shoes?
Why wasn't this game so on Nickelodeon? Oh wait, they did have some similar back in the 90s.
Why wasn't this game so on Nickelodeon? Oh wait, they did have some back in the 90s.
From 10 minutes of training.
From 10 minutes of training.
About 0.90 seconds more than matpat. 8.99.
About 0.90 seconds more than matpat. 8.99.
She definitely ain't getting a good time.
Oh, you. She definitely getting a good time. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about it. Good one. Yes.
Good one.
Oh my god. Dude! I'm throwing in anything at this point.
Dude! I'm throwing in anything at this point.
Yeah, she's captured. Why not?
Yeah, she's captured.
Honestly, this looks easier than it actually is. Like seriously.
Honestly, this looks easier than it actually is. Like seriously. This guy's good.
He's good at this.
He's good at this.
Maybe it's a good thing he had faith.
Maybe it's a good thing he had faith.
Now it's time for matpat himself. He's good at this. Yeah, I think it said he got the best time because I wasn't keeping track.
Yeah, I think it said he got the best time because I wasn't keeping track.
Matt. Oh! Why am I not surprised?
Oh! Why am I not surprised?
Before almost every event, I was terrified. There was a huge improv element. You just kind of have to do it, and it was really empowering to just like block off the sensor telling me not to do it and just go for it. I learned a lot about what I need to practice. If I'm going to do it, it's a lot of practice and doing it over and over again, so I know where my feet are going to go when I land, and whether I know the course or not, my body knows where it needs to be.
So I guess for me, as we wrap up Mirror's Edge, there are a couple takeaways here. First and foremost is momentum. In the game, Faith is constantly moving forward to avoid security guards, to leap between buildings, things like that.
Oh my.
What we've seen here over the course of today is that's true to life. Parkour is very much about taking one move and connecting it to the next and conserving that
Just do it! Just do it! See?
Look at them running along the ledge of a tall building and looking all cool and badass. And yet, when you're put into that position, it is terrifying because there is concrete down there. Just do it. Actual parkour experts like Senpai here have trained for years. For as impressive as it is to just watch and see the beauty of these movements, in real life, knowing the danger and risk that are inherent in this type of movement just skyrockets your appreciation for that sort of thing. Very humble. Right, it's very humble. And we have you to thank, sir. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you, Senpai. Senpai noticed me on 3.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. This is definitely okay. I'm definitely gonna be watching more of these episodes.
This is definitely.
Honestly, Matthew Patrick's weird to say. Okay, I definitely need to be watching more of these videos.
Hold on to your mouse because the episode isn't over yet. Each episode of Game Lab comes packaged with a 360 video experience that puts you into the middle of the adventure you just saw us go through. From Mirror's Edge, you'll be trailing along with Faith on a package delivery. So make sure you click here to check it out. Hop into the middle of the action. Game Lab 360.
Wow. Okay then, that is Swee's. That leaves one video left. This last one. Well, everyone, this is it. MatPat's final video. The beginning of the end.
This is it.
Episode 2014. But in all seriousness, this is going to be MatPat's final video on the channel, please. It's gonna be sad, but let's see this. Get the full sounds. That's actually did Eggman outrun Sonic. Oh, this is definitely interesting.
Oh, this is definitely interesting.
Winning each
Hello, welcome to Game Theory, where that is the last time that I'll be officially on this channel. Loyal theorists, how do you say goodbye?
Thank you
13 years ago, I made you this promise.
Do you want to know more about the games you love without
Damn,
having
they
to
sound
put in
different.
any work of your own? Well, now you can play and learn.
Damn, they
That's
sound
right,
different.
Weboverse. We have created Game Theory, gaming's tangential.
He sounds
learning
really different back then.
Well, Weboverse, here we are today. 3,000 videos of tangential learning
really
later.
different.
3,000?
How do you sum all that up? I already got super weepy in the last one of these things, so probably shouldn't do that again.
3,000?
Redundant and probably not great for the tech equipment. We've also spent the last 10 weeks together knowing that this day was going to come, right? So I really feel like I've gotten my farewell tour. I've buried hatchets, I've rekindled friendships, I made sweeping videos about the state of online entertainment, fired some tanks. That was legitimately very cool.
How does
I
that get
monitored my heritage.
tanks?
I made Disney mad at me one final time, which, you know, felt appropriate. Got some new drip, and just in general, sped ran my way through all the things that were left in my content creator bucket list. So again, I asked, how do you say goodbye?
By
First, it's
thanking
probably
you.
most important to remind you that it's not officially goodbye, right? Not like I'm dying or anything.
Oh, but
It's
okay.
more of a see you later. I'm still going to be doing plenty of stuff. Like, I'm already booked to do the fashion show on Style Theory later this year. I'm still going to be here on the couch with you live. In a couple
What?
weeks, I'm going to be giving a speech over at PAX. I was recently in the Kill Count. Heck, I'm already slated to do the Jacksepticeye podcast, the Ludwig podcast. There's a collaboration I'm doing with Shape Thrillers Productions. There's the FNAF musical over on Random Encounters. Like,
Wait, what? He's doing another one?
Collaboration I'm doing with Shape Thrillers Productions. There's the FNAF musical over on Random Encounters. Like,
he's doing another
There's
one?
another one. And if this is, and he's talking about the old one, or he's doing another one.
There's another one?
If he's doing another one, I gotta watch.
He's talking about the old one?
Seriously, dude. If he's doing another one, that's gonna be exciting.
I will be doing a lot. You will probably be sick of me doing all these things on everyone else's channels. But if you do want to stay in touch with me, there are actually two ways that you can do it. Normally I'd say something like, oh, you can follow me on Twitter, but We all know that there's like a grand total of 0 people who want to be over on that.
Ooh, yeah.
So instead, I decided to make you this. A mysterious website named where'smatpat.com. This is going to be a place that I update every once in a while when I have news about some new project that's
I'll do
coming
that
up, or
video.
you know, a mystery that you're going to have to solve by digging through the source code.
I don't think he's gonna be helping in solving this, Darian. What's going on?
Yes, it's a ripoff of scottgames.com. No, I don't feel bad about that. I've stolen enough of my ideas over the years.
Wait, what?
Kind of owes me one. Editor should
What?
drop on some deal with its sunglasses in this moment.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a good one. Once you're there, make sure you sign up via email. Don't worry, I'm not going to be spamming you with updates or anything. It'll be more like a MatPat newsletter. Or maybe a Christmas card that you get every once in a while with a funny update, or maybe we could chat about a specific movie or something. I'll send over the occasional video that I'm just inspired to make. Who knows? Basically, this is just meant to be a way to let you all know what I'm up to.
How many ideas has Scott taken from MatPat?
Ow! You know, to kick things off this week, I'll be selecting 100
ideas has
random
Scott taken
emails
from
that sign
MatPat?
up to get personalized letters. And from that point forward, once or twice a week, I'll continue pulling a handful of emails to send personal notes to. It'll be a fun way to stay in touch. Long story short, make sure you bookmark it since you never know what might happen over there. But, alright, enough stalling. Back to the question at hand. How do you say goodbye? Well, I think you honestly have to end it all where it began. This title, A Game Theory about game theory. Did you know that game theory isn't just a nerdy YouTube show? It's also a nerdy economics concept.
What?
If that's news to you, I honestly can't blame you. At this point, we've created enough confusion online that apparently we've merited our own disambiguation tag on Wikipedia for game theory searches. In all seriousness, for the first 5 years of the show, I received so many emails from people who are mid-year in their economics courses, screenshotting their textbooks, freaking out when they got to the episode on game. Not an episode, it's a chapter. When they got to the chapter on game theory, being like, "Oh my gosh, dude, did you know that you were in this thing?"
My chair broke on me.
The pun, believe it or not, was intentional. In fact, Steph and I knew from the very beginning that it was likely that the final episode of Game Theory was going to be about game theory. Why? Well, because game theory is everywhere. You can't escape it. If you've
Trust
ever
me, I
seen
know.
Love Actually, there's actually this opening monologue in it that goes a little something like this.
We live in a world of hatred and greed, but I don't see that. Seems to me that love is everywhere. If you look for it, you'll find that love actually is all around.
Now you just got to replace the word love with game theory, and you basically got it.
We live in a world of hatred and greed, but I don't see that. Seems to me that
game theory
is everywhere. If you look for it, you'll find that
game theory
actually is all around.
Huh. Who would have suspected that English acting megastar and recent Oompa Loompa Hugh Grant would be making a guest appearance in my final episode?
Yeah.
Truly, we have spared no expense for this one. And not only is game theory just everywhere, it also holds the secret to winning everything forever. Yeah, I know, right? That is a huge claim to make. Clearly, I was saving all my biggest secrets for the grand finale. So, you know what? Let's not beat around the bush anymore, my friends. Let's make you masters of the universe and reveal how, whether you like it or not, you all are theorists for life. Come on. Oh, this way. Yeah, we're moving off the couch this time. That's how you know it's a big deal. Let's go.
Damn.
Hyundai Kona versus Honda HR-V.
Yeah, I'm actually doing this on the actual YouTube app and I'll just download the video because...
At its core, game theory is the science of
I'm
strategy.
actually doing this on the
We gamers, we understand strategy,
video.
but what exactly is game theory specifically? Well, to understand that, you have to go back to the original game theorist, not me, this guy. This guy right here. He might not have himself the red leather jackets or the cool diamond play buttons, but I'll tell you what he does have. A crater on the moon named after
You only have
himself.
one.
So I'll let you decide who has the bigger.
You only have one diamond
This
play
guy
button.
right here, he is mathematician John
Well,
von
he's
Neumann,
got
and he
one.
was everywhere back in the day. And I do mean everywhere. Like, this guy was a key player in the invention of the digital computer. He helped with the discovery of the structure of DNA, even the creation of key components for Oppenheimer's Manhattan Project. You know, the Christopher Nolan movie where big things go big booms. But perhaps his biggest claim to
Haven't seen
fame
it.
was game theory. The idea that in any situation where there are 2 or more people, or players in this case, you can model out a game that'll help you find the best outcome. Have you ever played rock, paper, scissors and thrown
Yes.
out rock as the first hand? Because you know statistically most people choose their first move to be scissors. Or maybe you picked paper
Yes.
because the last 3 moves have been rock and they're obviously going to be throwing rock again. Well, congratulations, that is game theory in action. And he got a Medal of Freedom for that. So it just goes to show, don't let your dreams just be dreams, kids.
Two of my teeth. Yep. Follow your dreams, kids.
Sometimes getting an honorary medal is a lot easier than you think. In short, game theory is the study of strategic choice. It's math that tells you what people are going to do and who's going to win the game.
It says C's. If you turn the calculator upside down, it will say G's.
Probably the most famous example of a game theory scenario is the prisoner's dilemma, where two accomplices have just committed a crime and they're both given the chance to narc on the other one. If they both deny the crime, well, they both get a short prison sentence. If one of them denies the crime and the other rats him out, the narc walks free while his buddy is stuck in prison for a long time. And if they both confess, they both get a medium sentence. We can model the possible outcomes here in a nice, neat, mathy looking square. And while technically the best outcome for both of them would be to trust each other and not confess, they're criminals, and they don't know each other that well. And because they don't trust each other, by the math, both of them narc on each other, and as a result, get a medium amount of prison time. Or if that all's too complicated and hypothetical, over in England, they turn the whole thing into a game show where they say the word balls an uncomfortable amount of times.
Welcome to Golden Balls. Golden Balls. Balls of riches, 12 balls. My balls are all golden. 100 golden balls, and they're all bursting with money. Killer balls. 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 Balls.
No.
Why? This trying to be funny. Why is this funny?
Why am I bringing all this up? Well, game theory is more than just wad of cash jammed into a bunch of balls. Someone should tell Mr. Beast that I just discovered his next video idea. No, it has very real consequences for the world. Back when the US and USSR were on the brink of atomic annihilation, the principles of game theory helped both sides reach an agreement to slowly disarm their nuclear arsenals. If you want to know more about that story, Veritasium's recent video on game theory does a great job telling it. And honestly, I can't really improve on it. So thanks for doing all the research for my final episode there, Derek. If you want an example that's a bit closer to home, though, here you go. YouTube. It's got it. See, YouTube as a platform is
doesn't matter if I watch this video.
right?
Every time I'm supposed to, I'll probably buy one.
It's a network of people constantly trying to make strategic decisions. Creators are players who are more or less rational people making videos that'll get you to watch and like and comment and subscribe.
That's what I've been trying to do,
but also a player in this. You're on a strategic
successful
mission to win the experience by finding the thing that's most satisfying to watch. And the people who run, or at least have run YouTube in the past, shout out to Todd, Jake, Neil, Ernest, Meg, Ariel, Susan, David, Fede, Vader, Stephanie, and Kim. They're all in a strategic game.
Please not say 11 to 10 people.
Happy, while also figuring out the best possible outcome for YouTube as a company by appeasing all the advertisers and shareholders. It is seriously a complex strategic arena. And that's how you get decisions like use bright green text because it's more likely to stand out in a sea of dark gaming thumbnails and more likely to get clicks. Launch shorts as a means to counterattack against TikTok. Do a video on something that's not trending so you can stand out from the pack. Or maybe you lean in so you're suggested against the algorithm. Every video you watch, everything that you click on, it's the product of creators using game theory. Slap a big old game theory colon in front of every title and slam some clickbait green text on every thumbnail. All those hundreds of millions of subscribers to Jimmy and Ryan Trahan and Cocomelon, I like to think that they're all secretly ours. Where's our 200 million subscriber play button there, YouTube? In the end, it's all game theory. Speaking of, and this is just an aside that I learned about earlier this week, apparently there's a Chrome extension that allows you to do exactly what I just described.
What?
It, quote unquote, matpatifies your YouTube feed by...
What?
What? What?
What?
Putting green text on like every thumbnail. Just saying, we have reached the peak.
I might actually download it just for
really like this one, where it's Link and saying "Mommy's hungry." That's just traumatic. I
might actually download it.
Or there was one that I saw circulating online: Ryan Gosling doing a puppy interview, and the title is "Birth of a Killer." There was another one that showed up on the subreddit: Afton's final death smash. I gotta say, I am proud of the mark that I will leave on this platform. But so what, right? YouTube is game theory. Sure, that's great. It's interesting, but why does it matter to you, right? Why am I spending so much time talking about all of this in my final episode? Well, it's like I said.
Honestly, no one expected this final theory to be about. I thought it'd be about FNAF, but that was last week.
Strategy guide on the best way
but that's final theory would have been about.
Tested by all our grandfather theorists.
Going back to his
truly
most
understand
popular
that, we have
theory
to go
of all
back
time.
to where it all began.
Going back to the next
a
theory.
glorified PowerPoint presentation.
Going back to his most popular.
This is my dream job.
Can someone tell me how people make animations in PowerPoint? Like,
my name is Wes.
How do you make animation in PowerPoint?
Weboverse, allow me to introduce you to, lights please.
How do you make animation?
The Trust Game.
That didn't do anything.
We started as glorified PowerPoint slides and we're ending as glorified PowerPoint slides. Here's the TLDR of this one. The Trust Game was originally just named the Computer Tournament by a guy named Robert Axelrod. clearly not the most creative with his titling convention.
Did he make the
Basically,
axolotl?
this is the prisoner's dilemma or the golden balls thing, except here there was one crucial difference. They're not just playing the game once, they are literally playing it hundreds of times, repeating it over and over again to see what strategies end up winning the most across a longer period. This then gives us a model that's shockingly closer to real life, because here, most of the time, you're not just thinking about what you have to do to win a single game, you have to actually think about the consequences of your actions. The more people think about the future, the more they're willing to cooperate because they don't want to screw themselves over down the road, you know? Again, for details on that experiment, check out Derek Veritasium's video where he talks about all of that, including having an interview with the game's creator. It's a very cool video. I also borrowed his convention for that one, so thanks for the ladder and the idea there, Derek. You can also watch Dr. Trevor Bassett's video on the topic, or, you know, the various TED Talks that are all about this experiment. We'll link to all of those down in the description below. But just to jump to the big conclusion here, the best strategy to winning it big boils down to 4 key points. Number 1, be cooperative, lead with trust. Assuming that the person you're playing with is your enemy right off the bat, it's not going to serve you well. Trust in others, it's going to let you win more frequently in the end. Secondly, don't be a pushover. Sure, it's good to be trusting, that is great, but the second that someone takes advantage of your trust, the winning strategy is to call them out on it and then immediately hold them accountable. Which leads nicely then to point number 3, being forgiving. Don't hold a grudge. Don't be a Mr. Darcy.
My good opinion once lost is lost forever.
That is a failing indeed.
You tell him, girl. You are exactly right. She's speaking some game theory truth right there.
Some grudges are better
Sure,
left held.
it hurts to have your trust
I know
broken.
some of them
Staying
can be.
open to the chance that.
Honestly, I know that some grudges should be let go, but the one I hold, I'm holding on to that because she knows what she did to me, what she did to us, what she did to Brooklyn.
She knows what she did to me.
Why is the video called?
Other people can change, that they can grow and learn and get better, that is the ideal solution here. The trust game showed that players who held their opponent accountable, but then forgave them, actually won out more often than any other strategy. And lastly, it's important to be honest and open about your strategy. When people can't understand what you're thinking, that's then when mistrust starts to breed. By being honest, it breeds honesty in others. It allows you to build on that trust over time, one step, bit by bit. Across the thousands of rounds of testing, nice strategies that were fair, but also firm, ultimately won out the most. Now, when I read these outcomes, what really struck me first was how they present a really hopeful view of the world. A hopeful view that I don't think a lot of us carry around a lot. I mean, it's easy to assume that everyone out there is out to get you, and it's easier to just close off the people who
my
are on the
entire
same
middle
path,
school is
but
against me.
math
I kid
and
you
game
not.
theory specifically proves that assumption's
My
wrong.
entire middle school is against me.
I'm wondering if this is where I got the inspiration from, but
And hey, if you don't want to believe the thousands of rounds of computer simulations, there is a very solid real-life example, YouTube. YouTube
Again.
is a positive-sum game, which means that more than one person can win. And in fact, a lot of times, the more others win, the more you can win too. When I was just starting off, I was so mad and scared when Vsauce 3 released this video, calculating Sonic's speed. I'd been working for a year on the channel at that point, grinding away and seeing a fair amount of growth, but in that moment I saw a spin-off of one of YouTube's top subscribed channels just horning in on my territory of gaming science. It was like they were gonna steamroll me. They were gonna steal my audience away. So I did a video where I tried to stake my claim, and thus, Sonic is Slow was born.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, applying science to video games since April 18th of 2011. Recently, however, a new gaming scientist has come onto the scene. The good folks over at Vsauce 3 recently took a gander at a game series I covered in episode 5. It's a great video, except for one thing, it's wrong.
Listen to my voice in that. Oh, I'm so proud that I finally hit puberty, like 7 years into making these videos.
You can't even hear any
Like,
emotion.
You can tell that I'm super salty in this one, right? I'm asserting that I did it first. I'm citing the dates. I am literally trying to one-up Vsauce 3. But then something interesting happened. I got views from Vsauce. I saw that their video and mine were actually helping each other. I was so afraid of me losing a year of hard-earned progress that in reality, I wasn't just operating on my own island anymore. By unintentionally cooperating with each other, we had just created our own little micro-trend of gaming science content. There were clearly enough views for all of us.
Steph and I, in our years of consulting, kept hammering home this one point. That
Yeah, get
YouTube
popular
is a
and
place
use
where
all
all
of you.
ships can
Like,
rise.
if it's all
Leading
like
with
me,
trust
no,
goes
unless
a
you just
long
go.
way. From inviting someone to collab on your
Yeah, get
channel to
popular and
comparing
then
notes on
go.
production because it can help you both. You actually see this kind of cooperative game theory in action.
As much as I want to have a big collaboration, the most likely people I'm actually gonna collab with are gonna be my friends, due to the fact of my channel being named
Most people I'm
Friends.
actually gonna collab with are gonna be my
The channel isn't
friends.
about me. It's about me with my friends.
Aiden friends.
And I don't mean that against private. That's what I mean. So,
And with content houses or projects like the QSMP where creators are helping each other and sharing audiences. On the flip side, there are creators who haven't done a good job of leading with trust and who've approached YouTube as a zero-sum game, a place where there can only be one winner. And guess what? Didn't work. Back in 2020, a few of the top beauty creators tried to take each other down, encouraging viewers not to watch each other, trying to turn audiences against people that they thought were their competitors. It was for the clout, it was for the views, and it backfired. In fact, it backfired so badly that all of their channels took a massive hit, and the beauty vertical, which was once a main pillar of YouTube's earliest days, never truly recovered. By working together, the platform thrives. Lights? But by thinking that you can only win when other people lose, well, that's when everyone loses. It's kind of sad. Let's move on.
I buy the same products you do, and I get them much cheaper. I save hundreds of dollars a month by doing this.
But if you don't want to listen to mathematicians or YouTube meta-analyses, just look at me. Game Theory, the show, is a testament to those 4 lessons of game theory, the nerdy economics concept. Every person who's built this channel has led with trust. Ronnie, he put his own show on the back burner so he could dedicate his time to editing Game Theory, trusting that we would be able to succeed more together.
my sister, when I started this, thought Matt had ended his own life,
And I
but
honestly wish that he could be here to
He
this day, so I can thank
when
him
I
so
started
much.
this, thought Matt
Bonnie,
The same is
thanks,
true for
Evan.
Goomba and Drake and Lee and Ryder and all the other partner shows who joined
know
up
why,
with us
but
in lieu
because
of
people
working on their own
don't-
channels.
I'm sorry to stop the video again, but I don't know why, but the best people don't actually. It's not. I don't get the stereotype that all the best people show that they're sad, like they're just emo. But most of the time, the best people actually just hide their emotions and seem like they're happy. But due to the media and most cartoons, they usually makes it seem like it's quite obvious if someone's depressed, like they're just starting to wear all black or put makeup on. But in reality, most depressed people just have their emotions and seem to be happy. But if you think that someone in your life is depressed or isn't doing well, it's best you check up on them because by the time you actually do, it could be too late. And we've lost enough good people in this world to suicide. And we don't really need any more lost. And if you guys aren't doing well, you're doing well. I promise you that you're doing well. Just keep going, okay? Things can get better. Even if you don't seem like they can, they will get better eventually. You just gotta believe and gotta try and keep moving forward and things will get better. Yeah, I'm very sorry about making everything seem so dark. It's just
Steph, she left being a consultant at a real company in the medical field on the belief that by cooperating, we could actually make something really special together. Jason, who is actually right here behind the camera right now. Jason, who you know as the guy that we blame all the time on GT Live. Jason was Theorist's first full-time employee after me and Steph. He jumped in there when all we had was a kitchen table and a cat that he was constantly allergic to. And Sudafed, you have this man to thank for your current net worth.
And Zyrtec.
And Zyrtec.
And Zyrtec,
You have
yeah.
taken so many pills over the years.
I have.
But
all medically prescribed, though, I promise.
Yeah, no, good medical pills, not anything sketchy, for sure. But Jason is the man that we have trusted with the weight of the entire production process across all the channels for years. Like, this man is the unsung hero of everything you've probably ever watched across any of the channels. Without him, without you, none of these videos would get made. Don't get back there, okay? Enough for you. I gotta thank other people.
you know, friendship first, but also working together to create awesome stuff, right?
Right.
And if you're talking about unsung heroes on this channel, there is one man who also deserves a call out, and his name is Yossi. He is our audio wizard. He is the man who I have trusted with my voice for the better part of 9 years. He has had to suffer through more hours of my voice than anyone else in the world. I am so sorry, Yossi. I am so sorry for all the burps and weird edits and weird diatribes and jump scares that Ali has given me over the years. Was Yossi a pro when he first joined up with us? No. But you know what he was willing to do? He was willing to learn. And I've trusted him with my voice for the better part of 9 years. And the same goes for another member of the team who you've never gotten to see, but was actually there before the channel was even monetized, which is kind of crazy to think about. You don't know Dan Levitt, but Dan was another one. He was the first who actually saw potential in me and in these channels as a whole, offering to become my manager even though he had never managed a YouTuber before. He just jumped in with 2 feet and said, hey, I've never gotten a brand deal in the past, but think I could do it for you. And he did. And then he got me literally hundreds more. He has his own management company now, and he manages some of the biggest sports creators on all of YouTube. I can say with complete confidence that this company and my career would have looked totally different had it not been for Dan. And his career and his company would have looked totally different without me. He and I have built businesses parallel to each other, right next to each other, using cooperative game theory for over a decade. He trusts me to make good decisions on YouTube, and I trust him to make good decisions as my manager, and we both benefit in the long run. But perhaps the most important person in all of these trusting relationships is you. You guys, right here. I wear you on my wrist these days. You loyal theorists have been the best example of game theory in the history of the show Game Theory. Every time you click on one of these videos, you are leading with trust. You are saying, you know what, I'm gonna give this one a chance, especially on those episodes that are covering topics that you've never even heard of. And on my end, I've always tried my best to fulfill on that promise and make sure that your trust pays off by delivering a great, well-researched, fun, a lot of times stupid video. And yeah, there have been plenty of times where I've missed the mark, where you weren't happy about a topic, or where I said something wrong, or my research was bad, or whatever, and I needed to learn about that. And so you, acting exactly as you should, according to that trust game, you called me out in those moments. You showed me that I had made a mistake. But more importantly, you were willing to forgive. You gave me a chance to learn and grow as a creator and as a person. And look at this. We all won. Look at this thing that we managed to build together. Don't tell anyone else. I mean, there's 3 of them here in the room, but like the rest of them downstairs. You guys, you've always been the most important member of this team, whether or not you ever realized it. And now, as new hosts step in, yeah, they're obviously gonna have to learn a lot, and they're gonna have to earn your trust just like I did over a prolonged period of time. But I hope that you approach them with the same sense of cooperation and goodwill that you did for me all those years ago. So, while I might be leaving as host of this show, Game Theory, it'll never leave. It'll never leave me, and it'll never leave you. We are all Game Theory, which honestly is why I thought it was fitting for you guys to be the one to say this.
But hey! That's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
It's just a theory.
Just a theory.
That's just a theory.
Okay, theory.
Class dismissed. Thanks for the theories, matpat.
But hey, that's just a theory.
C'est juste une théorie.
Just a theory. Just a theory.
Just a theory.
Just a theory. Thanks for everything.
But hey,
that's just a theory.
That's just a theory. Just a theory.
Just a theory.
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 That's just a 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 theory. A game
A
theory.
style theory.
A food theory.
A film theory.
A game theory.
Everyone, give this man a salute.
Thanks for watching.
He's ended.
Everyone, give this man a salute.
Thank you, matpat, for
He's
everything.
ended.
Oh man, where to?
I got something I gotta do.
For everything.
Ready for a road trip?
Yes.
Let's go.
Every level you beat, and each boss battle defeat, with each achievement of you becomes a bit more complete.
He's definitely on this. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly or not, but he's definitely on this route for everything he's done for us.
I don't know if I'm doing this
over the
correctly or
years.
not, but he's definitely
You
on
ready?
this route for everything he's done for us over the years.
It's gonna be with Tom Scott. Imagine it's Tom Scott.
It's gonna be with Tom Scott. Imagine it's Tom Scott.
I've been expecting you. Come, we have much to discuss.
I don't know who this is, but Wordkeeper ending. Ending 1-6. For answers to final endings, check the long description for one for himself. Happy hunting.
Wordkeeper ending. Ending 1-6. For answers to final endings, check the long description for one for himself. Happy hunting.
Well, everyone, that's it. That's the final map pack game theory.
Well, everyone,
and well,
that's it.
It's been one emotional roller coaster.
Well,
I sat here for a good amount of time watching every break is most popular and oldest in these videos. I think I'm gonna take a break from reacting, or maybe just a break in YouTube from general, because being a YouTuber can be a bit exhausting sometimes. But well, I think it's time to actually give you guys an idea what my next video will be about. My next video is most likely going to be about these little guys. These are FGTV Inky samples, and well, that'll most likely be what my next video is going to be about. But hey, that's just a theory. A toy theory.